Hey, welcome to the Gig Life Podcast. I'm your host, Stevie Taylor. This is episode 104, Calvin Welch. Yo, Calvin, what were you telling me about the groove?
You know, and so, you just get there and you lock a groove and lock a pocket and you learn to suck that groove. You have to suck it, man, until it pulsates. The groove it pulsates. It's not just doom, doom. It goes doom, doom, doom. It pulsates it, it just like breathes. And then you go like, yeah, this is it. And people like have to move. They have to dance. They have to move because they can feel that. They can feel it pulsating to the beat. Yeah.
My guest today is Calvin Welch. Calvin is a drummer, percussionist, songwriter and performer. He started playing professionally as a 14-year-old in his home state of Michigan, USA, touring with the who's who of jazz, funk and soul scene from the 1970s onwards. He moved to LA in the early 1980s, where he continued his career as a soul funk session drummer, recording with some of the top producers of that era. Since moving to Australia in 1988, he's had the opportunity to collaborate with numerous local and international artists, including Swoop, Professor Groove, Kevin Borich, Michael Wheatley, Bek Jensen, Christine Anu, Carl Orr, just to name a few. He also writes and records and tours with his own band, global groovers Arabesk. Calvin is a great advocate for original Australian music and stays active promoting showcase nights and music sales through his company ihearmusic.com. Able to play almost any genre of music, it's this versatility that ensures Calvin is in demand for live performances and recording sessions. In 2020, Calvin became part of a new children's TV and live performance group, The Nanas and the Poppers, which airs on ABC for Kids. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the man, Mr. Calvin Welch. You good to go? I think we're
good. I'm ready.
I think we're rolling.
I'm ready for you, Steve.
Yo, Calvin Welch. Welcome to the Gig Life Podcast.
Thank you, my brother, and I'm glad to be here hollering at you, talking and hanging out.
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
Yes. So tell us where we are. We're in your studio shared office with your wife and Miracle.
Yeah. And my wife, we share. She's a graphic artist, and because I'm a musician, so she gets 1/8, and I get the rest.
So, but as a graphic artist, you're getting paid 1/8, and she's getting paid 7/8.
Yeah, she does. She's been a graphic artist for about 40 years, man.
Yeah, cool.
So she runs her office over there, and she lets me have the rest of the office for my drums.
Yeah, full drum kit set up here. What have we got? Nice Mapex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-piece with electronics and cymbals and some cool shit.
This is my practice kit.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want to lug it up all these stairs every gig, Yeah. So, what I've been sort of talking about to start with, because we're in this pandemic at the moment, and I'll point out too, today is the 18th of December, and we've just had that Northern Beaches cluster start to kick off today, so I think we're all getting a little bit nervous again.
Just when it was opening up.
Yeah, that's it. Well, can we talk about what you sort of had lined up, what got blown out, and what's sort of starting to come back for you once when the COVID thing first hit? What was going down?
Well, man, I was doing. I got a band called Arabesk, and of course, actually, when the first thing was the fires,
Yeah, yeah.
So we had the fires before COVID.
Yep.
And I had like a whole like South Coast run. The fire stopped it. And with Arabesk also, I'll come back. So South Coast got burnt out, so I went north. And I booked a whole north run. Byron Bay, Bellingen, I don't know, the whole little Brisbane, all the way there and back. And soon COVID hit, wham, that stopped that. So I had a few there that stopped. Of course, we all do gigs around the city, Lazy Bones or somewhere. All that stopped. Dulwich, which she was pretty cool over at Butcher's Brew. She's one of the first as soon as it hit. Because, she just opened up. She thought, oh, no, man, let me, Caroline Buckingham, she said, shoot, she immediately started doing streaming. She's one of the first, actually, I think, to start doing streaming.
Right.
But her things ended. How can I say, man? Everything around town just like shut down. Musicians couldn't do nothing. And the hard thing was that we go, now what do we do? We wait and see if we get money from the arts.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
The ones that actually took care of business and run themselves as a business, of course, the government had to come through because we're sole traders. But a lot of us aren't sole traders, and some don't even do their taxes right.
Yeah, gotcha.
So you don't get no money either. So it kind of hit musicians hard. But yeah, I lost a few tours with Arabesk, like quite a few gigs, and then of course since I'm a session drummer, I lost quite a few just gigs around town, man. Just at our gigs, Georgia Lazy Bones or Butcher's Brew or who else? Or there was gigs at the Cauliflower. There was gigs at Camelot. There were gigs at even like Gasoline Pony. There was gigs at some was like over the North Shore, like over at no, not North Shore, I should say just over the bridge. Street food market. All these gigs just closed up on everybody. There was our little gigging scene. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing all of a sudden dead. So COVID did hit everybody pretty hard. Musicians just went like, oh no, what do we do?
Yeah.
And I don't teach. Some that teach thought, what do we do? At least they kind of found a way because I had them teach it online. But I don't teach. So I go like, okay, so what do? I don't teach. The gigs are gone. Tell you what I do. I'll just take a break from music and work on my house.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Took a break, started working on my house and doing things and, just building around my house, fixing stuff. 'Cause I used to be a painter and sheetrocker, and I used to, do a lot of stuff when I was younger, coming up. So I know to work on things and fix things. And so I started doing stuff like that around my house, man, and building garden beds and, making, just doing stuff.
Yeah.
Keep myself active. And of course, the room we're in right now, I would come up every night, hit my drum kit.
Yeah.
Had a place to practice. I come practice, work on some tracks, work on some stuff. Get up in the morning, work on my house. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to take a break.
Yeah.
I didn't even let it I didn't mind trip about it or get down about it or I'm not that kind of a person. I think I'm always going to look up and look the positive way. And I go, the best thing out of this is to keep my mind active, keep myself active, keep myself going. That's exactly what I did. And I had a fantastic time off.
Yeah, great.
I didn't even complain. Yeah. But yeah, we did miss a lot of gigs and a lot of work. And a lot of people did. It hurt them hard.
Yeah.
Because everybody, the little monies to pay for their little, rent and pay their little bills, man. Got to look at it. They needed them little gigs.
Yeah.
Because some of us live week by week. And all of a sudden, that's gone. The landlord saying, where's mine? You go like, well, I didn't make it. Wow. But lucky again,
I think landlords sort of pulled through.
Yeah, a lot of landlords pulled through and said, "We understand. We're gonna let that ride." But commercial buildings almost had it differently. If you had like they were still asking for their money. I think a lot of commercial buildings.
Right.
Yeah, the landlords are still because the banks. Yeah. The banks are still asking. Landlords going, "Where's mine?" And so businesses. That's why a lot of businesses closed. A lot of businesses went out. Because some of the businesses couldn't afford to close and keep their business. Yeah. Because they were still asking for money. Yeah. And so
that's like the companies that ended up sort of taking their offices home type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they did. They ended up going like closing the doors if they could and have it home. But like little restaurants or coffee shops, or a lot of them held on. And some of the landlords maybe came through at the end. But I think the banks are doing something with them, making them. I don't want to get it wrong, but I know the banks are making them like still pay interest or something, and so they were constantly still having to pay money out. And they go like, well, man. But they had people in their buildings, and they didn't want to put them out because once you put them out, your building's empty.
That's it.
So, it was a catch-22 with them. But for homeowners, I'm a homeowner also. We're lucky the banks just said, no, don't worry about paying notes.
Oh, great.
That helped me out, too. I didn't worry about paying house notes.
Right.
Yeah. The
That's
bank
cool.
said, nope, don't worry about notes.
Yeah. And nothing like, well, once it picks up, you've got to you missed out on this, so you've got to pay this extra. Did they just say, no, that's it, we're just pausing everything?
No, they pause everything.
Wow, that's great.
And if anything, they add the notes on at the end.
Ah, right.
You just instead of being, say, 22 months, now it's 29 months.
End of the day, you probably won't.
And that's okay.
Today.
And that's okay. They didn't penalize you or nothing like that. Yeah. So banks are helping us out help a lot of us out on home loans.
That's good.
Yeah, the banks came through. So COVID, yes, about COVID. So everybody had to readjust. They called it the new normal. Yeah, man, we got a new normal now. You can say over there in North Shore now, new normal, man. It's like something hit and here we go. We're locked down again.
That's it. Yeah,
Steve, it's not so good. But then again, we always got to look up.
Yeah.
And that's put us through.
Yeah.
I can't go there.
Yeah.
I ain't ever going there.
That's cool.
I ain't never going there. That's cool. Not the way I live.
Yeah. And, having this set up today, you and I sent you a text during the day, and I just thought I'll do the right thing and say, well, I haven't been anywhere near those Northern Beaches hotspots or anything like that. And then I said to you, how are you about that? And you I'm cool too.
That's right.
We've been living in our little bubbles here, so here we are. So it's great to be able to do that. For how long? If it could, maybe if it's tomorrow, they might just, like I said, lock everything down. And
tomorrow they might, again, I supposed to go to Tasmania in January.
Yeah.
I don't know now. Yeah. I just got the contract and got to sign everything to go do some work down in Mona just 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at it, wow. They just sent my flights yesterday.
Yeah.
But that don't mean nothing.
Yeah, because Tasmania shut the border straight away.
Yeah,
they were one of the first.
There you go. I won't be able to get in and even go do. There's some more work that might hit me. Already, we talk about then. Even now, I got to look and see if it's going to stop me now from doing some work.
Yeah.
I might not even get to go to Tasmania and do this.
Yeah.
Don't know. But I ain't going to look down on it.
Yeah.
I'll find me something else.
Yep.
I'll go work on the house again.
Again. Find something else.
What else? I'll find something else to fix, build, paint.
Yes.
Yes, I can do it.
Get one of those trade jumpers from Bunnings.
Yeah. Just go all the way. Just get a Bunnings jumper.
Just get a Bunnings jumper.
I'll be there so much.
Trade Link.
Trade Link.
Yeah. This podcast was brought to you by Bunnings Trade Link. Yeah. All right. Well, let's put that aside for now. I just want to mention the first time I ever saw you. I didn't actually meet you this night, but I saw you play, and it was early 2000s. It was at the Harbourside Brasserie, and it was Professor Groove, and Phil Sobrano was playing guitar, and you were playing drums. And what I remember, there was one song that you guys played, and it was like a 10-minute jam almost, and you just sat on this groove almost the whole song. I was at a phase in my playing, when I'm chopping up a lot, heaps of chops, chop there every end of every bar.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh yeah. And I just remember watching you going, "Fuck, how does he do that? He must have that urge to go brr, 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 or something, But you just sat on this groove while the other guys jammed. Yeah.
Yeah, Professor Groove. Man, Harbourside Brasserie was such a good venue, such a good gig. We did it for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Because they had because of the Harbourside.
Yeah.
And in the back here, they had you call it a veranda, or you want to call it the deck out there.
Yeah, looking out over the water.
Out the back, you can look over to see there's the bridge, and
And out the front door, out the front door too, yeah.
The bridge.
Yeah.
And I mean, they had this venue, man, that was just like, man. But yeah, Professor Groove, we used to do a lot of, the boys like the old school rap and old school funk and all the old sort of 80s, how can I say it, with a lot of electronic sort of stuff from the 80s, like, no parking, baby, don't, no parking on the dance floor. All that old kind of stuff. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just had to settle the groove.
Yeah.
Let them do their thing out front, and just lock that pocket and lock that groove.
Yeah.
But also I grew up in them times too, so I knew all them grooves and all that music because I grew up playing a lot of that stuff when I was younger.
Yeah.
When I was young, starting out, when they used to tell me, "Man, keep it simple, stupid."
Yeah.
I had to go through them days too.
Yeah.
And so you just get there and you lock a groove and lock a pocket, and you learn to suck that groove. You have to suck it, man, until it pulsates. The groove it pulsates. It's not just doom, doom. It goes doom, 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 doom. It pulsates. It just like breathes. Mm-hmm. And then you go like, yeah, this is it. And people have to move. Mm. They have to dance. They have to move because they can feel that. They can feel it pulsating to the beat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's right. You saw me Harborside Brass days. That's what I was doing, Steve.
And I had Phil Sobrano on the podcast a few months back, and I brought up that moment as well because that was the first time I'd ever seen Phil as well.
Yep.
And we talked about that gig. Yeah, awesome. All right, let's roll right back. Let's fly back overseas from back to Michigan.
Whoa, you taking me?
We're going way back.
Wait a minute. Can I think back that far? Shit.
Yeah,
back to Michigan.
I want to sort of paint a picture of growing up in Michigan and like everybody knows Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, and it's the Motor City, it's Motown, and a lot of amazing music has come out of that place,
Oh, yeah, man.
And I can imagine that kind of set a tone for you. So can we, go right back to your family? Was your mum and dad musical?
No, man. I had 6 brothers and 2 sisters, and I'm the only musician.
Is that right?
I'm the only one, man, out of all of them.
Mm.
My father always loved music, though. Was always music around the house, always some jazz, some blues. Had a lot of older siblings, and we always was, because Motown and Stax, but even Motown before Stax, always jamming, always music in the house.
Yep.
So when I grew up, man, like, the thing is, I go back to like kindergarten. I remember wanting to be a musician from 5 years old.
Okay.
And we all used to do this in grade school when we were kindergarten. Me and a lot of my friends, we did it when we were kindergartners. And just a little story. People always think of the ghetto as being such a bad place. And the ghetto, well, see, I grew up when the ghetto was a community, healthy. So when I went to school, even in the kindergarten, I had teachers and black teachers in the schools he went to. Man, they encouraged us to do things like that if we wanted to be music. As I went through grade school, they encouraged us and let us bring instruments to school. Let us play at recess. When we finally got good enough, we can go around and maybe perform for the kindergarten classes I got in year 3 and 4 and 5. Mm. We would have talent shows at the end of Friday, the last hour would be talent show. Everybody had to get up and do something. So they encouraged this kind of stuff out of us. And see, when I was little, I used to, like everybody else, beat up my mama's pots and pans. And we had these boxes, grit boxes, as they called them back in the days. They were round, playing the boxes and do things. So finally, my mother and father, time I got in about a year, 3 or so, or 4, they bought me a pair of bongos. And I used to take my bongos to school every day. Mm-hmm. And me and the fellas used to play, because then before that we were playing on the desk. We had to do all these grooves in the desk with our knuckles and our wrists. Yeah. And, we used to do all kind of stuff, and that was a jam. So when somebody got a pair of bongos, that was like, ooh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was like, ooh, that was like, man, wait a minute, bongos. So I had a pair of bongos to go to school. I got off the desk, off the pots and pans.
Yeah.
So this is me growing up, and this is like grade school, man, year 4 or 5, and doing that sort of thing. We all played and get in touch. We played and sang at school, and by the time I got finished grade school and went to year 7, there was there's a band around, these singers around town. Now we're going back to the 60s because the doo-wop. See Temptations, Diana Ross, and you hear all this stuff. That was the doo-wop days. So, of course, singers back then in the talent shows, and there's these singers that were back then, they were called the Patterns, and they had won a couple of major talent shows. Like, they won state. They were so good. I mean, the whole state of Michigan get together and have all these doo-wop and talent shows. They won one. They won one at the local high school, which was like all black high school. And I mean, to win that was like, you had to be like the shit. And these guys, and decided, I didn't even know this. I just noticed from a book that the Wonder Brothers put out. And I read about when they got together. I go, oh, okay. And when they got together, they figured, okay, now we got to get a band. And when I got out of year 6, I went to year 7. And these cats, and a friend of mine said, hey, Calvin, you want to join this band? I go, yeah, man, let's go. Yeah, I want to go. Come on, let's go. And went to this rehearsal. And it was these guys, the Patterns. And they were like playing, and doing their thing. And people sitting around. I put my bongos out. We joined in. They had cats. I was like, year 7. They were like supposed to be older. They're like in year, maybe 9 and 10 and 11. And, we all playing. And they looked around and said, whoa, this cat. And they wanted me to play bongos with them. And from that day on, the Patterns Band. And, we did a lot of shows. And when I say shows, see, we were doing we were getting paid. We were doing like the whole stroll back then, the whole strip. We used to have a strip back then that had would have like 7, 8 nightclubs, all of them packed every night. And they were doing these clubs, Club Riviera. They were doing, I don't know, Limelight. They were doing all these clubs. They would get booked. They would go out of town, go to Muskegon. We go to Lansing. I actually grew up in Grand Rapids. Not Detroit, but Detroit. We used to go around Michigan and do all these gigs because they had this little name and they had this band. And this is what we did. Jackson, Michigan, Kalamazoo, Michigan. We went around doing all these gigs, and that was like year 7. And I would get like, $6 or $8 a gig. Yeah. They go, $6 or $8? Man, back then, that was like, nothing cost anything, you go to school, or milk costs you 3 cents, lunch costs you 25, 35 cents. The weekend, I get finished the weekend, I got like, $20, $30, $40 in my pocket.
You're balling.
I was like big time money. Big money back then to me. So that's how I started, and that's how it was back then. And I guess I can tell you about Michigan when I say all that was going on. Like I told you, had a strip where there was a lot of like clubs on, and one club on the strip was in the chitlin circuit. Was definitely like the big time chitlin circuit where, where like who knows, Grant Green would come to, Funk Incorporated came. Of course, Al Green's from my hometown. Yeah. See, when Al Green come up, I knew his first producer and his first writer, which wasn't Stax. There was a guy named Palmer James and Kurt Rogers. And Al Green hadn't even been discovered yet. He was still the Green Brothers. He was singing with his family. Yeah. You can go see Al Green and sing with his family. Al Green, like everybody else, was doing James Brown and everything, all these other covers. And then he went, because that first hit got him to Memphis. I don't know his whole story, but I do know his first hit. Yeah. Coming out of Michigan, coming out of my hometown. So everybody doing these clubs. Everybody doing the same scene. I'm young doing this same little scene with everybody else. And we had one club that's on the chitlin circuit, and like everybody came there. And you had to, and Saturdays it's have matinees. So of course matinees mean jam sessions. You can play in jam sessions. The jam sessions back then ain't like here. With the jam session stuff here, you give a go. You don't go sit in with these people and give it a go. If you didn't know, you know what you was doing, if they even thought you knew what you were doing. Plus, at our age, we couldn't even get in unless they knew us or we had a union card or we were gigging the clubs and they knew and let us in. Really, 21, young people couldn't even get in clubs. Yeah. I was lucky enough where they happened to know who we were. That came later. When I was like year 6 and year 7, 8, Even I wasn't doing that yet because that came later when I started playing drums.
Yep.
I'm still playing percussion and congas, and I'm playing all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that healthy. It was like I was saying it because it was like so healthy. Music, clubs, nightclubs. Man, we just played. And now, when I say doo-wop, I mention the doo-wop days is because this is before, like, all the bands were hitting. Mm-hmm. See, you backing up. When I first went out back in those days, we took out reviews. Reviews, like Motown, Motor Review, Stack Review.
Yep.
So we took a show out. It was a female group, male group, female singer, male singer, MC, go-go dancers, a band. You back up a show.
Yep.
And that's what we did when we first hit it. We were doing stuff like that also, and playing behind these talent shows, and just doing all that sort of stuff. That's when I was real young, and that's what got me started. So I learned how to play on stage. In other words, I started playing on stage.
Yep.
About year 7.
Still percussion.
Playing in bands, playing percussion.
Yep.
And then eventually got me a pair of congas, and that was huge because Motown had congas and bongos and stuff. Mm-hmm. See, so that made a big deal. And that's why people always say everybody want to have that in their music because that was a big deal. And when I got about 15, 16.
Hang on, can I just go back a little bit? Was there any musicians or did you know of any percussionists at that stage or that gave you a bit of influence to start playing, or were you did it all just come about from the jamming on the desk with you?
Oh, from the desk, friends? Man, all from the desk.
That was it, yeah.
All from the desk.
And you didn't discover musicians till later?
We discovered later because we started listening to Marco San Maria. We started listening to, Palomino di Costa or somebody when they came later. We started listening to, of course, the first one is Eddie Bongo, the guy that played with the Motown.
Yeah.
He was the one.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was the percussionist, right?
Oh, yeah, he was the one that played bongos and congos and all those songs.
Yeah, and then who were the drum? Uriel
Benny
Jones,
Benjamin.
Benny Benjamin, Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
Yep.
Benny Benjamin, the one that started the whole Motown beat. He's the first one that started. Al Jackson was the first one. Yeah. He's the one over stacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's the pickup.
Yeah.
He had that pickup. Benny Benjamin started. He's the one that named the Funk Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the Snake Pit. Just a little history of Motown with it. Because they had this little, had all the chords and everything going everywhere.
Yep.
And the story is one day they were leaving the Snake Pit, and he turned around and he goes like, you know what, y'all? We the Funk Brothers. and that name, it sort of stuck, but Barry Gordy didn't like Funk Brothers.
Right.
So he never would say it.
Yeah.
He would never use it.
Yep.
But they called themselves the Funk Brothers. But Barry Gordy never. Matter of fact, Barry Gordy never put none of name on anything.
That's right. Yeah.
Which you know the history of that. But Benny Benjamin named it the Funk Brothers.
Right.
But all that I didn't know anything about percussionists like that. And of course, Dizzy Gillespie had started doing stuff with wasn't really congos and bongos, but he was starting to do that Brazilian stuff.
Yep.
Bring a lot of percussion in from in jazz. See, Dizzy Gillespie was actually very influenced in bringing a lot of that into the American scene. Bringing the samba and bossas, all that sort of stuff in. He brought a lot of players over to play with him. But no, I just learned how to play bongos and congos from listening to records. I should listen to records, play records every day, all day long. Of course, I still played football, basketball. I still went to school. I still went on tours on the weekends. I still had little summer jobs. Constantly doing stuff. As I grew up all my life, I've been like that. Just been busy. But a lot of music. I can take you back to a lot of music. And there was always rivalry bands. I mentioned the Patterns. There was the TMGs. There was the Black Aces of Soul. There was Captain Crunch and the Funky Bunch. There was...
What a name.
There was the People's Choice. There was, I go on and on, man. There was so many bands and so many groups of us, man. There's the TMGs. They were like the shit too. Right. TMGs were they had the hot horn section. And these two brothers, Easton brothers, these boys could play.
Yeah.
guitar and bass, and they were forced to reckon with. And man, it was healthy. There was clubs are there, the music was there. We all were out there playing. I told you the ghetto wasn't the ghetto as people know it now. It was a community of people, and we did it all the time. There was clubs and places all the time to play, man.
Yeah.
Like all the time to play. And so I grew up playing on stage like that for years. And of course, back then, you know, like you buy bands got together and they bought their instruments. You know, we did pop bottle drives, we did newspaper drives, we did everything, hustling money. There was a few organizations that would help, youth organizations to help black musicians, help us come up. They lent us a little money, actually give us a little money, and we bought all our instruments. And that's when I got me a pair of congas. The band I was with, we all got together and bought new instruments, new PA. The drummer bought a Buddy Rich Slingerland kit. Yeah. I bought my congas. We bought new this. He bought Fender, Baker's Fender, and Gibson. Gibson was in Kalamazoo back then. That's right in Michigan. That was like 45-minute drive.
Yep.
Go by Gibson right at the factory. You know, that was right there. We buy all that stuff, and that's when I started playing congas. We got all the band. We bought all our gear and got brand new gear, and we were ready for the road to hit some more stuff. And then and out of that, the drummer in the band, he was a few years older than me. I mean, eventually, long story short, eventually I ended up with the drum kit.
Yeah,
I still got the drum kit.
Yeah,
the Slingerland. I still got that '68 Slingerland.
Really?
Drum kit.
Wow.
Yeah, it's up here, right up there. Stored up there. That's one. Wow. I got it stored up there. I got a '68 Slingerland, Buddy Rich Slingerland kit that he bought back then. That I ended up getting it because I was in the band so long, and I ended up, you know, giving a little money for it or something because he had stopped playing and got married or something at one time. And I was actually doing more playing with it than him back then. Yep. At that point, as I progressed in drums. Yeah. You know, so yeah, man. I don't know how to. Long story short, but yeah, man. That's how I grew up in music, and then I got I was with you know, another story is people talk about drums. You know, first time I ever played drums was on a gig. I did a gig my first time on drums.
So no practice, no jam.
Oh, I was playing percussion.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
It's a couple of extra limbs.
Yeah, it was a little. Long story short, again, the guys are older. See, U-Haul was 60s. See, U-Haul is going. You know, I had actually played the drums a couple of times in the 60s. I wasn't really being a drummer yet, but I was never even thinking about being a drummer. But the guys went back with the U-Haul. We're out of town. I think we're like in Battle Creek or somewhere. And we live in Grand Rapids. So the guys could take the U-Haul back, mess with some girls, and then come back the next day, and their girlfriends wouldn't even know it because they're supposed to be in Battle Creek. But they're coming back, mess with some girls, and go back. You know, but I'm young. I'm not driving nothing. And one of the guitar players with us named Butch Cook. Kenneth Cook his name, but Butch Cook we called him. He was an older guy. He was older in high school. This boy was doing Santana, Jimi Hendrix, slides. He was doing behind the back. He was doing all this stuff, man. I never in my life do this. He was doing this stuff back and we were young kids. He could just he was doing he just was a monster.
One of those guys.
Oh, monster. Yeah. You know, as a young kid coming up.
Yeah.
Butch said, Calvin, I don't know, man. I don't think they're going to make it back in time. Maybe we better go. Let's go and rehearse tomorrow. Let's go and see if we could, you know, see if you can play some songs or something in case they come late. Okay, you know, young, you go. And I went and got behind the kit, and the bass player was there, and me and him, and we just started trying to play these songs. And, you know, I was shithouse, of course. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know how to hold sticks. I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to figure it out, you know, when you get around. And, okay, we did it a little while, and cool. But I don't know what happened. When that night came and they didn't come back, they went at the show. It was time to go on, they wasn't there. He said, all right, Calvin, you got to play drums. I got behind the kit, and the place was rocking. Yeah. They ran in late thinking something was wrong, and everybody in the place was jamming and rocking. Because you had to play good anyway them days to keep them ghetto clubs, to get people up on the floor jamming. You didn't mess around. I don't know what happened that night, But I got there, and whatever I figured out must have hit me. And I started playing these beats. And they went, what? And I just started playing them. And that's how, and then, of course, when he finally got there about an hour or so late, he went back on drums, I went back on percussion, and that was it. That was my first gig. That was my first time on drums.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I knew I liked drums. And the bass player liked it too. He said, man, why don't you come and practice early, man, and then you start working on some stuff on drums, you know, because the drum kit was always set up. I go, okay. Larry Rhodes is his name. And I would go and Larry would show me he would play a bass pattern and make me match my foot. My foot had to match his bass every time.
So he hasn't eased you into it.
Huh?
He hasn't eased you into it.
Well, that was his way of easing me.
Yeah, right.
I had to do this kind of stuff with him.
Yeah.
And he had me do it until the rehearsal started and the pattern rehearsal, we had to, you know, go through. And those guys do all the routines, the moves, the steps, doo-wop, you know, we do all that sort of stuff. So I eventually started learning how to play drums. And every now and again, the drummer then would go, Calvin, you want to play a song? Oh, okay. And he let me play a song.
Yeah.
And so I started playing drums like that. And that'd be like on the show. And then, because I was still playing percussion, I got a call one time from this producer. His name was Bob Crawford. He had this label called Jazz Masters. And they wanted to put some percussion on these with this jazz artist. Because again, percussion started to sell. See, more, you know, Mongo San Maria or all this stuff, you know, all these different things are selling. You know, percussion is like becoming, you know, this hit thing on tracks. More congas, more stuff. Okay. So I go to the studio where there's this cat, Sonny Stitt, sax player. Sonny Stitt, at that time, I didn't know, but Sonny Stitt is like a legend. Right now, you Google his name, you won't believe it. Legend. And all these cats are like, were there, man, the studio. Danny Spencer's on drums, and a guy named Ron Brooks was on double bass, and Eddie Russ was on keyboards. They were just hooking it for the first time, Eddie Russ and Sonny Stitt. Eddie Russ, this keyboard player, he played with Dizzy, he played with Sarah Vaughan, he played with Stan Getz, and these cats were in the studio, and I'm there to go play percussion with these cats. I'm looking at this going like, whoa. You know, and we doing like sort of just doing some tracks and trying to do some like, you know, pop songs, modern songs or so. But they would always be doing this jazz in between takes and be doing jazz and just blowing. And I'm like, oh man, I want to learn how to play drums like that. I just couldn't believe this cat was doing all this stuff on drums. You know, back to you again, you know, the Bullets. The Bullet, you know, he wasn't that, but to me it was like, you know, Machine Gun Kelly. How's he, you know, and they swinging. How's he doing all this stuff? And I wanted to learn how to do that too. Then I would go do my funk and soul stuff, you know. Then I would go back to these sessions. I did many sessions. Matter of fact, I did for about 4 years. I hung out with these cats, doing sessions and doing stuff and overdubs. I was at all the sessions and overdubs and long story short, again, within that 4-year period, I started playing drums with these cats. In 4 years, I started playing jazz with these cats. They let me play. They let me start to play with them and hang out and play with them. Eddie took me to Europe. I went to Europe and I played with these cats, man. They used to let me start doing this stuff and play jazz with them, man.
Were they kicking your ass?
Well,
were they hard on you?
No.
No, what? Okay.
No, these are really real cats. They knew I had a little beat. They liked it. You know, Calvin, what? Man, you ever play brushes? No, I ain't got no brushes. Go buy a pair of brushes. I might need a brushes on this song we're doing. And I bought a pair of brushes. He said, I don't know how you play them, man. Somehow they just swoop them around and okay, try that. And we're going to do this ballad song, you know. They would never hire them. I mean, they would just, they would go through all the chords and all the charts and go through the heads, all this stuff. I'd be sitting there and they go, okay, you ready, Calvin? I go, yeah, I'm ready. Because I'd sit there and hear them go through the song. You know, I can remember that stuff. So I remember these songs, and I started playing with them, and and then they let me start playing with them. But the cats I used to watch back there was Danny Spencer, another cat named Randy Gillespie, another jazz drummer in Detroit. Brother was a monster. To me, he was a monster back then. I had cats around my hometown that were doing jazz and stuff, and so I started doing jazz and then doing the funk and soul stuff, and I started going back and forth and learning drums at the same time as I was playing percussion until I finally, and eventually I realized that I was a drummer. I never thought about being a drummer. I never thought about being a professional musician because we did it for the fun of it. I guess nowadays they think about going to school and all this stuff, being a professional musician, but I really never thought about it that way. I just, I lucked up on being a professional musician. It's just something I just did as I got older. It's just one day I woke up and I just realized, wait a minute, man, I'm a drummer. I'm playing gigs here, gigs there. I'm traveling. I come back. I'm doing stuff, and I guess I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
And that's how it really hit me. I never really thought about it.
Was there any formal lessons at all at any stage?
No, I never had formal lessons.
Never.
I had a couple of cats. Another cat, which is everything I'm saying is probably not in sequence.
Yeah,
cool. but I had another guy, a friend of mine. He was a guy. I used to play with these guys. The local clubs, like your local clubs. Again, I'm saying when you're in the ghetto clubs, you better be slamming. You better be doing hits. You better be slamming. You better be playing. They didn't mess around. As I grew up, I started playing with some cats. They used to be with R.C. Crawford. He was a guitar player playing with Junior Walker and the All-Stars. There was Walter Corley and Dee Taylor. They were playing with the Main Ingredients. There was Robert Levitt. He was playing also with Junior Walker and the All-Stars. There were another guy who used to come to town. He used to come to town with his band all the time. And the Chitlin Circuit was talking about, we used to go watch them in this club. They were like bad. The drummer was like bad, grooving. But he used to be one of George Benson's drummers. Right. Before Benson was, because they're from the same hometown. Dave Paris. And Dave Paris, another cat, he also played marimbas and did stuff like that. As the years went on, as I got to know Dave, he would hire me to play drums while he played marimbas and sang out front and do all these standards and all this sort of stuff. And we'd go around and do the Hiltons and all this sort of stuff. But Dave would, because he did all these sort of songs, all this sort of stuff, Dave knew all this stuff and knew everything on it. He was a drummer. He was like a drummer. And Dave was cool. I had Dave to help me out, sort of. I had another drummer friend used to come through. If you Google his name, anybody out there, you Google George Brown. George Brown was played with Yusef Lateef all the time. Or he toured with, he played with, who else, man? I look up George. What else time I see? George, jazz drummer in my town, used to play with, man, he played with, just Google his name. He played with so many people. You have to Google, you wouldn't believe it. Go, who just George Brown cat? George was, and he was a guy from my hometown. And as I used to come up playing drums, when George was in town, he lived a lot in Paris. Actually, he lived a lot in Paris because jazz. Whenever he was in the hometown, George used to always come to my gigs. He always come to my gigs and stand next to my kit and watch me play and talk to me. We used to talk and stuff. And George would always just another cat in my hometown that was an awesome drummer and take me to go see Yusef Lateef. Calvin, I got a gig with Yusef this weekend. You want to come? Yeah, man. I'll go with you. I ain't got nothing to do. George, take me. And I'm watching him play with Yusef Lateef. You go like, wow. Just stuff like that. And then all the supports I did when I was younger with bands. I did supports for like Isaac Hayes when he had Hot Butter Soul out. His first album. I did supports for that. Eddie Russ, keyboard player I told you about. We did supports for people like Freddie Hubbard. I did supports for people like Joe Pass with Eddie Russ. We was down with Joe Pass. Or who else, man? Oh, man,
there's probably hundreds. You don't have to name them.
So much stuff we used to do.
Don't feel you have to name every single person.
Yeah, so much stuff we used to do when we were younger. And And I guess what I'm getting at, you mentioned Michigan. I'm saying Michigan was that healthy.
Yep.
That we played and played and played all the time.
Yep.
All the time we played and played and played and played. And I was lucky enough to play funk, soul, blues, got into the jazz scene, started touring with cats when I was kind of went to about 70, 77 when I first went overseas with Eddie Russ. And we went over, we did Germany, Switzerland, Austria, all these kind of places overseas, you know. But we were in like the same, like Elvin Jones was 2 nights before me.
Yeah, right.
You know, I go back and see. I remember going back to the club we played at, and there was Gary Burton and Steve Swallow and them playing the night after me at the club. See, so we were doing the same circuit. We were like in the same circuit of these cats, man. You know, and we were going to be doing these tours, and you know, and we were getting big write-ups.
Yeah,
I was getting really big write-ups back then. I didn't even know. I didn't even know it. It was a tour manager used to show me the write-ups, and I'd be my picture be in the paper or something, and they would have these cats tell these cats that they had I told you, which is a story. You feel like you bragging on yourself, but we talking podcast. But the guy come to me one day and he says, "Calvin, we got a problem." And the tour, I go, "What is it?" He said, "Well, we got to move your drum solos up the first set." I said, "Okay." See, yeah, because the write-ups in the papers, and people during the week, some will have to go home early, and they don't want to miss your drum solos.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
Because that's how I was when I was younger. I used to be like you, say, Machine Gun Kelly. You know, I used to be like, I wanted to be Machine Gun Kelly too. Play jazz, although you in the contents of the music, not just do it.
And they were loving it.
You know, but then I was lucky on the other side. I was doing R&B in these clubs and funk and soul. Yeah, where I knew when not to be Machine Gun Kelly. Yeah, I knew a difference. Yeah, when I was playing jazz and when I was playing this, because that's just the way it was when I grew up.
You ended up moving to LA. So how did that come about?
Oh, again, one of the friends at the Patterns, actually. Mm-hmm. And then another friend, which again, at the Patterns. And we used to have a group called Wall Street when I was younger. Funk band, Wall Street. We were like, oh man, it's hard to say. These cats, we all grew up wanting to be musicians. All of us. And we end up being musicians. Some, the ones are hitting now and doing shit now in L.A. Yep. And again, New York, L.A., they still hitting, doing stuff. Anyway, a lot of my friends that moved to L.A., they hit in the 70s. They went to L.A., do P-Funk stuff, some of them. Mm-hmm. Some went off. One other friend of mine, few of them went off and did a band called Switch.
You said P-Funk. There
it is.
There's some Parliament, like a box set CD of Parliament sitting on the table there.
On the table. And one of them went off to hit a band called Switch. Switch, people know who Switch is. A friend of mine, they put 5 albums out. 2 went platinum, 3 went gold. That's how huge they were in America. Right. But they were out there, and another friend, Nate, was out there. And when they went to L.A. to do all this stuff in the 70s, I was more into playing jazz and stuff, wanted to learn more. I went to Europe. And started with Eddie and them playing jazz. They all went out there, and they hit contracts. They were like hitting. Mm. So I got back from Europe one year, and I thought, got back, and around my hometown, I'm thinking, man, ain't nothing to do around here. It's really like, I could feel that maybe I had grown the place or something. Yep. Nothing to do. I didn't know what to do. I was growing. I thought I was still playing. So I contacted, and I had my old band then. I had my own band then called CWC Experience. We used to go out and do sort of mixed jazz with vocals and fusion and stuff. Mean sax player, Wilton Machin, was blowing with us. These cats are like players, man. But hell, we had and Corley, another guy, Walter Corley, when I told you used to be the main ingredients. He was playing keyboards for me. Had a young boy named Evil, called him Evil, Kevin Gillespie. Young boy was on bass. This young boy was like fire. And we used to go do these gigs. But I contacted some friends out in L.A. and I said, man, Cal, what you doing? I go, what? Nothing. Man, you should come out here, man. It's the 80s. I go, 80, I went like, okay, man, I'm going to save some money up. So we saved money up. We bought us an old station wagon, put a trailer on the back of it, loaded some gear and shit in it, and we took off to L.A. And that's how I went to L.A. I got there, and of course, here we are in L.A., and you go like, okay, right now, nothing. I ain't got no money, really. $300-$400 in my pocket, maybe. You know, and here we are in L.A., but we had a place to stay for a minute.
Yeah.
We could stay there. And Nate was his name, Nate Thomas. Nate organized a few rehearsals and a couple of gigs. Did some gigs around L.A., like a place called the Candy Store. Candy Store was like that was one of the elite black clubs, and it was up on Sunset Boulevard. Well, a lot of elite blacks would go there to this club. You might go there and see El Giro pop in, Joe Frazier come through. Anybody came there. All of them came to and you go there to get showcases of playing there. That was like you had to, know somebody to get to them doors. So I was doing gigs up there with Nate, and then of course Reagan come through and Reaganomics hit. The whole industry just closed. There was nothing. Here we are. There was absolutely nothing happening in the music industry. Like the doors are shut and you out there and you're going like, wow, what are you doing? You're out there with nothing. Nothing. That's when I thought, okay. What I did, I didn't have no money. I used to get up. I used to walk around L.A. by foot. I could walk. Cause I lived at least in L.A. I live over the mountains. I could walk around L.A., knock on doors, catch people I knew, hang out with people, do things, network, try to get things going. And I did. I made sure I got a few gigs, a few things out of it, and doing things. Because, it was nothing happening in the industry, nothing at all. And I'm not a singer. I wasn't a singer-writer type. So I'm a drummer. Go like, see what a drummer do here? I just left a place where I'm playing drums all the time. Now I'm in a place where it's like Session City.
Yeah.
You're doing sessions, or people writing, trying to get hits, So gigs are you have to really be in the know to get gigs with certain places. So I'm getting lucky and getting a few gigs, getting a few places. Until finally, I ran into a friend, because we was in this place and L.A. they didn't play that shit. If I come stay with you, and the landlord find I'm staying with you, oh no, that ain't no. You got to go. You got to go.
Yeah.
Simple. You got to go. So we're in this place, and the landlord found out we was there, and he said they gotta go. Oh shit! Okay, we gotta go. Give y'all 1 week, but to be out of here. Shit. Okay, 1 week. Nowhere to go. You got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
1 week. Ain't got no money. Plus, you're not even tapped into L.A. yet.
Yeah.
If you ain't got a driver license, L.A. driver license or something, the out-of-state driver license, you might as well be from the moon. Oh, no. Landlords, people didn't take any of that kind of stuff. So, man, I said, shit, what am I going to do? Nothing, so I got out doing my walking around, looking for stuff. And somebody hollered, hey, Welch. See, where I'm from, my family, my father was like a very big community leader, and my mother. We're talking my father just looked after us. He looked after all the kids in the block. If principals in schools, if they messed with you, my father was in the school. Mr. Welch, he said, all these are my kids. Every last one of them. Because we're talking still America, white, black, precious to the shit. Yeah. We got these white teachers in high school and in these schools. My father be up there in a minute because he's from Birmingham, Alabama. Back down in Selma where Martin Luther King got stoned and shit. See, my father grew up down there. You can imagine how he never taught us about being racist or anything like that, because that ain't how that would only put you in jail or dead. This is how you play the game, son. And he talked to us like that. But anyway, big community leader because he kept everybody on like that. And he came around him. So So I'm saying, so my father used to, again, he used to go to school, even if you got in trouble, he'd go up there and tell them, don't mess with the kids. If you're gonna mess with anybody, mess with me. Man to man, you mess with me. Don't mess with these kids. They may think they're old, they may be this, that, but they're not. They're kids. So I'm getting at is this. Everybody knew my family. My family, when I go home right now today, if my name goes up in a club, I'll pack it.
Yeah.
People will pack just to see me play drums right now today.
That's cool.
And I haven't lived there in about 40 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
I go today and I will pack a club. So that's now back to LA. I'm out there, so I'm walking down the street. Somebody, hey, Welch. Shit. Car pull up. Man, when you get out here? Oh, man, I just got out here. Been here a few months, man, but shit, they just throw me out this place. Man, fuck that. I got a house. You need a place to stay? I got a house. Shit, cool. Now we hang out. We talk a little stuff, hang out. Next day I get up, I do the same thing. Somebody flag me down again. Man, what you doing here? What? Man, what? I got a house. You need a place to stay? I got a house. I'm telling you, long story short, within about 2 or 3 days, I had about 4 places to stay. And didn't have nowhere. I was just getting kicked out. These cats had houses. They said, where you want, Calvin? I said, well, I got other cats with me. We out here doing some stuff and writing some songs and doing a few things. I got these cats with me. They go like, bring them too. Because I'm looking at the people that's with me again. Not like, see y'all later, man. I got me a place. No, I didn't do no shit like that. So I'm bringing cats with me. Yeah. I got, y'all come with me. And they did. And where I ended up going actually was to Oceanside. I left L.A. Actually, I left L.A. I went to a friend's house in Oceanside because he was in the Navy and he had a good setup. I go there, had a place we could hang out, rehearse, practice, do a few things, and regroup so we can go back to L.A. We had to rethink this shit. Whether I didn't go back home, we did that. While we were there, we flew in another cat we flew 2 cats in. One, Eddie Guyton, another one, Dee Taylor, another cat I used to play with when I grew up. We flew them in. And we started writing and doing stuff. And then made a couple phone calls to L.A. And some cats come down. And one cat, he had been doing stuff with Norman Whitfield. And the other cat was hanging out and writing with Alan Lindgren. Alan Lindgren was with Neil Diamond. So we hooked up with these cats. We went back to L.A. They put us in an apartment. Long story short, Alan Lindgren ended up giving us this Porsche to drive around in. And so we're writing songs and doing stuff and doing demos. And we had Norman Whitfield Jr. being our engineer. Norman Whitfield, people know who he is. He's the cat that wrote I Heard It Through the Grapevine. That's one hit. He's the cat that wrote Papa Was a Rolling Stone. He's the cat that I go on and on. Now his son's an engineer. And that's how we got it. So we doing stuff and writing songs with them. See? And we writing songs and we doing stuff and getting tracks out. And I always wanted to work. I went, hey, man, this is cool. We're writing this stuff, but I got to work. And so around L.A., so I write in the evening, but in the daytime, I would go work at a car wash. Just like the movie Car Wash. Yeah. All these young cats around there, man. Music jumping, boxes going, people's jamming, music going, just like the movie Car Wash. Yeah. I was in it. For real. I was washing cars. In this thing, washing cars and working on songs and doing shit. And out of that, I got tired of doing that. And one of my walks again, I ran across a brother that was doing some painting on a sidewalk. I said, man, what you doing? He said, oh, man, you paint? I said, yeah, I can paint. He said, man, I need some help. I said, cool. I started painting with this cat. And from that cat, I started painting. I started doing sheetrock. I started doing gyp rock. I started learning myself a whole trade. Back then, like now they go to school to do. Back then, wasn't no school. School was do it. And I got with many painting companies and companies. These cats used to go out and do army barracks and airplane hangars and high risers. And I started doing all this shit as I'm writing songs and doing shit and trying to make a way in some music out there. And through these guy that I got to painting with is how I met my wife. She was my wife then. He was married to an Australian girl, and she came to visit. And I should take this girl and take her. I got off early. I'd take her around to see Hollywood, take her to the, all around the beaches, just take her Venice, just take her everywhere. Drop her off, and we just kept in touch. That was in 84. 88, I came out here.
Yeah.
I came out here. I just thought, okay, I need a break from L.A. I've been running around L.A. writing, playing. All my boys are hitting. The industry was closed. It wasn't until Michael Jackson put out Beat It that the industry even opened up a little. Michael Jackson stabbed it single-handedly, opened up the industry with Beat It. MTV, black people couldn't get on MTV till Michael Jackson put out Beat It because he put Van Halen on the track. Van Halen was the number one guitarist back then.
Yeah.
Well, they had to get, how they going to tell him no?
Yeah.
And Michael come with all these little movies and stuff. Michael Jackson did all that. They want us to think he was some little rapist little guy. Yeah. People don't understand that Michael Jackson did a lot. And I respect him. Yeah. And which is something else I didn't even talk about. Growing up, how many times I seen the Jackson 5. I used to go see Sly Stone, go see James Brown. I used to go see Ozzy Brothers, go see Rufus and Chaka Khan. It was just Rufus then. She wasn't even Chaka Khan yet. Rufus, go see on Stevie Wonder, go see Attempts, go see Impressions, go see Curtis Mayfield, go see Isaac Hayes, go see P-Funk when they first hit. That's when they were like, lock your doors. These wild brothers is coming to town. People didn't know what the P-Funk was like because there wasn't no brothers still doing doo-wop. Yeah. And all of a sudden, these guys come to town with all this wild-ass shit on. Yeah. And wearing diapers and shit on stage. What the hell is this? Lock your doors. You keep your daughters in the house. Yeah. It was almost like that. Yeah. But P-Funk was funky. And Boots and them was jamming. Yeah. And we used to do that sort of stuff, man. And again, man, that and sitting in the jam sessions, Greg Green. I think I sat in with Greg Green once. Sat in with people like from Funk Incorporated. There's people I don't even know who I was doing back in the days. Yeah. And I was lucky enough to sit in and learn music like that. And I tell you, when you sat in back then, a drummer got like 2 beats. When they go 1, 2, 3, 4, doom, shkant. That was it. Yeah. And they go, okay, he's cool. Yeah. Either they go, man, get this motherfucker off the stage. They were just like that. They ain't went there, he's having a go. And they didn't have a go stuff. Yeah. So that's how I ended up in L.A. And L.A. was more of a writing. I did a lot of gigs around there, but not like I wanted to. And even like the band I told you, Swish, my friends that hit, they had all them platinum albums out, and Motown would not let them tour. They didn't even tour. They just put out albums and became hits. Yeah. He went, what is, So we ended up doing a lot of that kind of stuff in L.A. But, of course, yeah, the industry, and plus the industry just closed. 70s was all right. 80s, it closed up. And then I came over here in 88. After I met my wife, and, she's a girl. I only knew her. And we kept in touch. And I thought, I'm going to take a break from L.A. I said, I think I'm going to take a break from here. I can go back home and go like, ain't nothing back home. I said, I think I'm going to go over to Australia, contact her and see what's in Australia. I don't know what's over here. Just go have a look. Yeah. Didn't even know nothing about Australia. Yep. Didn't read about it. I didn't even check up on it. I didn't even research it. I did nothing. I just called and said, hey, I'm coming to Australia. She said, oh, yeah, come on. You're welcome. You can come to Australia. And I bought a ticket. And I came over. And didn't know nobody. When I stepped here, didn't know a soul but her. I got off the plane, that was it. I was like, okay, look at this place. And it was so funny because I didn't know how far I was even going. I've been to Europe a few times, But, I was like, when this plane gonna land? Yeah. Yeah. And then I get here, and they called it Down Under. And then I look, it was, the funny thing is that she got off, my wife now, Carrie, she picked me up and she said, oh, I got to go back to work. Come with me. You just go back because she's a graphic artist. She had a place in Surrey Hills. She took me back and I walked upstairs and the first thing I looked at was a clock. And they had this clock that was funny. And the numbers went backwards, like 12 and 1, 2, 3 went the opposite way. And I thought, oh, no.
You thought the time went backwards.
I thought the time went backwards. I went, oh no, even the time is backwards over here. I did. And I didn't know there was just like a little mock thing, in the studio.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I said, oh man, I didn't say nothing. I go like, wow, this is a different, that was like a weird, this weird place, man.
Oh, man.
I thought, what is this?
Yeah.
And people were talking like pirates. I went like, hey, Super Hoy, Mike. I went, oh man, where am I?
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a different place here.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this episode of the podcast. As you know, the Gig Life podcast is free. You don't have to pay anything ever. But if you find the value in the Gig Life podcast, you can donate or leave a tip. Go to thegiglifepodcast.com, click on that donate button and give as little or as much as you like, and just know that anything you give will go back into creating great content for this podcast. All right, back to the episode.
But I said, here I am. Let me dive in and see what's happening. And then she used to drop me, my wife. It was a place called Drum City.
Yep.
You know Drum City used to be on City Road?
Yep.
Mike Lynch used to be the drummer, the guy that owned it.
Yep.
And I walked in there one day, a few days after I was here, and he said, oh, where you from? I said, from the States. I just got here. I'm from the States. I was talking to him. He goes, well, man, I got a drum kit always set up back there. Anytime you want to come have a play, you just come. You can practice anytime you want to here. I said, thanks. So my wife would get up in the morning and go to work, and she was in Surrey Hills. That was a city road. Yeah. She could drop me off there, and I'd drop off there, and I would play drums and meet cats come through the door. One of the cats I met was Philippe Lindsay. Philippe Lindsay, he's a percussionist. Back then, Philippe was like, this the 88. And when see back then, djembes and doom dooms and stuff weren't even in Australia. He was doing it. He was doing djembe, doom doom. He was with a girl named Janine Clays, which is an older lady. Janine was like a African. She was first white African dancer in Paris to even hit big, and the Guineans recognized her because she learned from the Guineans. So they came over here and they thought we can bring this stuff over here. And that was their thing. They thought they can bring it over here, which eventually, you see djembes end up taking over one time. Yeah. But back then, there was no djembes, no dum-dums, none of that shit here. And Fleet came in and heard me playing one time. You from the States? You from the States? Because he got a very French accent. Yes, man, I'm from America. Yeah, can you play 6/8? I go, yeah, I can play 6/8, I'm playing jazz, I'm playing some 6/8. So he had Janine come and watch me play. And they said, okay. So they were doing all these African dance classes and all these ballet classes, African ballet, at Bondi Beach back then. That's when the pavilion was like, we used to have a storage room there. You could just park your car right in front of the pavilion all day long back in them days. And he said, okay, man, you play drum kit. I'm going to show you how to play these doom-dooms. So we started playing doom-dooms. I started learning all the West African rhythms, which is Fuaba, Kakalimbi, Cuckoo, Sole, Sosane. See all these names, all the African rhythms got names. And then I started learning all the African rhythms with him, and she ran these dance classes. And I did this for like months. I did it for a long time. We formed a group called Doom Doomba, which he still goes today in schools, called Doom Doomba. And then me, him, and Yao Gleiman. Yao? Yeah. Me, him, and Yao started doing a band, Doom Doomba. And then another friend of ours came over from Paris, coming from Japan. His name was Zip back then. His name was Yashe. Yashe now has quite a few hits out on his name. Yashe Rayner. And Yashe started playing djembe with us. And another guy named Steve Nugent. And we had this African band. We used to do ballets and do African stuff and do this kind of stuff around Sydney. This was like back in the 80s when nobody even had heard of this stuff. We did that. And one day I was walking downtown. There was to be a Brashes or something. It was down in the city. I forget. Down there, round by Victoria Building. There was a Brashes or something around there. They used to sell records or sell stuff. They had music upstairs. And I went upstairs and I'm looking through stuff, and this little guy coming to me. Hey, who are you? I go, I'm Calvin. Who are you? I'm Rocco. Rocco was a keyboard player. And he was like Italian. He had that Italian hair down, you know. I used to call him Gino Vanelli. Because he had that, you know.
Did he have the curly long hair?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And he was short.
Yeah.
He was like Gino Vanelli to me. I said, Gino Vanelli. And Rocco played keyboard. He goes, man. And he started talking to me. He goes, how long you been here? He said, man, I know another brother in town. I said, who is that? He said, you know Craig Calhoun? I go, no, I don't know. I don't know him. He said, okay, I'll give you his number. He gave me Craig's number. It was on my birthday that year. I mean, it was on my birthday, July 22nd. I called Craig up. Craig was on a holiday with his wife in the Gold Coast or something. And I talked to him. He said, okay, I'll come back. And when he came back, he hooked me up with Kevin Borich. Craig was going up with Kevin Borich, and Kevin Borich needed a drummer. His son was playing drums, and Kevin needed a drummer. So Craig got me to do rehearsal with Kevin, and me and Kevin and Craig went out, and we started doing Kevin Borich and the Brothers of Oz. That's where the Brothers of Oz came from.
Right.
Kevin always been in Kevin Borich Express. That's the only time he ever changed his name to the Brothers of Oz.
Right.
Kevin Borich and the Brothers of Oz.
Right.
And we started, and I used to go out with Kevin Borich. I did that for. Craig stopped it about 3 years after I was with him. I'm gonna stay with Kevin about 4 years or so, maybe longer than that. And with Kevin, he would hook up with Renee Gayer, do a tour. Yeah. Hook up with Mark Hunter and do a tour. Right. They did tours like that.
Did Harry Bruce come in after?
Harry.
After Craig.
I met Harry. I used to go jam with Harry. He used to have a little house, and Harry used to have everything. Just like he does the same thing now in his basement, in his garage. Always got stuff set up, recording everybody, doing everything, getting you to play his stuff, doing stuff. And for not he mix the album out, mix some stuff out, and he got an album, and nobody even know that Harry was recording and made all this stuff. He the same way today. Yeah. He ain't changed. Yeah. And I met Harry. We used to go to this house and play over this house all the time and practice. Him and John Watson. You know Waddle? Yeah. Yep, Waddle. Waddle was still living here then. Yeah. He wasn't even with Vic and Linda then. He had another girl. Yep. Another married girl he used to be with back then. I can't think of her name. I remember her. Remember her face. I'll think of the area in a minute. We used to go there and we used to practice. Everybody play, practice. It was just like a band house. And Harry had this band house. Yeah. I did a lot with Harry with that. When I played with Kevin, it wasn't Craig, it was Michael Deep. Michael Deep don't even play bass anymore, I don't think. He had something happen to him. The other guy just died, lived in Tazi. So Kevin, I was doing a gig with Kevin once, and we're doing this gig, and Paul Christie had to come play bass. I don't know who Paul Christie was back then, but Paul Christie he's the Party Boys. Yep. That was him. And they had out, Who's Gonna Step on You Again? They had all these hits out and all this stuff out. And Kevin was like one of the main cats in the Party Boys, because they always had a bunch of all the names and Australian rock they put together and do these tours. Yep. Called themselves the Party Boys. And Kevin was one of the main ones in there. Yep. And Paul Christie and I did one and Paul did one. He goes, man, we get ready to do this tour. It was '89. He said, you wanna go out on this tour with us? I go, yeah, I'll go do a tour with you. I mean, I don't know. It's okay. And the tour was with Joe Welch from the Eagles. Right. So we're doing this tour with Joe. Yeah. I got one day my phone rang. Hello, is this Cal? Yes, it's Cal. This is Joe. I hear you're going to be the drummer. You know, it's another American, Joe. Yeah. I said, yeah, Joe. And okay. But I knew a Joe, not just through the Eagles. See, I knew a Joe before that because he had Funk 49. He had these tracks out. He's from Ohio. Joe was already hit before he got with the Eagles. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right. I know him from them days. But he was the Eagles. And now Joe's coming out and, and I'm doing this tour with Joe and the Party Boys. But Paul was cool because Paul also ran across these three guys named Hamish, Angus, and something Ferguson. These three guys. It was like, I still in touch with one of them today. I'm still in touch with one of them. And they were like, he caught them singing in the car parking lot. And they were practicing before they go on stage, these three family brothers. And he got them to do background. One played acoustic, one played guitar. He got them to do backing vocals. He got me on drums. He got Kevin, and he took out this show with Joe Welch. And those boys had such good harmonies that we were doing like all the Eagle stuff, doing all this shit. And I'll tell this story because the main thing about Joe, when I first met Joe Good, Joe came to rehearsal. And we got to rehearsal, and we got there, and Joe said, all right, y'all. All right, y'all. Joe looking all, people think he's crazy and stuff. Joe go, did y'all learn the songs? He go, yeah, we know them. We learn them. We know them. Joe said, oh, yeah? Well, okay, now that you learn them, I'm going to show you how to play them. Because, see, I want y'all to know, I ain't no cover. I'm the real deal. And
humble cat, eh?
Oh, when he finished, he meant it. Yeah. When he finished, when you finished playing them songs with him, you sound like the Eagles. You sound like just the way they blow the songs through the air, just like stadium rock.
Yeah.
That's what he knew. He knew stadium rock.
Yeah.
So he could take that shit and take it one level, another level, another level. All of a sudden the song just goes through the roof. He knew how to bring the right power chords in, the right time, when to build it, when to do this. He knew, like, when he said it was the real deal, when you finish the song, you go like, shit. Like, it was big.
Yeah.
That's the way he is. He was the real deal. Yeah, you wasn't no humble pie. Now that y'all learn them, I'm going to show you how to play them.
Yeah.
I'm Joe Welch. I'm the real deal. I ain't no cover.
Yeah.
It was so good. And that's when I started doing the rock scene around here and doing stuff going. And then back then, you run out, you run into, Angels, you run into Rose Tattoo,
right.
You run. Jenny Morris was hitting back then a little bit. Jenny and Victor and Sunil and them. Jenny Morris was hitting and who else was hitting around here? I don't know, Screaming Jets or you run into so everybody be in the road, and you would, when they finished their gig, which was again how healthy this music scene was back then, we all could be 3 or 4 or 5 of us could be in Melbourne, and everybody got crowds.
Yep.
After the gig, it was somehow we all end up in some club or some party or somewhere, and the cats would be hanging out talking about the gig and drinking and just, kicking it like they do because they knew each other for years.
Yep.
And the scene was just like that. That was the pub rock scene.
Yep.
And I was lucky that I hit those last 4 years or so of the pub rock scene. When, own drum tech. Had their own drum techs back then,
Yeah.
Guys look after your drum kit, especially buying a bag of weed or something, Man, he polish your cymbals, look after your kit. If I had a gig in the city, I could call him up on the Cross or something and see the Cross, because the Cross was was the place. Yeah. Little gig, they would bring my kit to the Cross for me, stuff like that. These cats were like, you flew from place to place, and when you got there, they would just hand you your drumsticks on the way out. Everything was set. You just walk off a sound check. We had road crews and stuff back then. That's dead. They ain't even like, that's like, what? Road what? What kind of crew?
Yeah.
Now even in good gigs you still gotta carry your own gear.
Yeah.
No, they had road crews and everything. Kevin's even doing this stuff. Kevin got a little trailer. I see Kevin got his station wagon, a trailer, and Kevin lugging his stuff around. I see Kevin doing that stuff. Even today, I see Kevin Borich doing that. But that's how it was back then. It was a eye opener, and I started doing that scene. Then, of course, as it went on, I started meeting some of the jazz cats. Meeting some of the cats to do, and that's how I got with Professor Groove. We're doing Craig. We started doing the Brothers of Oz, which is which kept going.
You did Swoop first before.
I did Swoop.
Yeah,
I did Swoop,
Groove, yeah.
But the Professor Groove, then Swoop.
Yeah.
And I did Swoop. I did the album with them. I did Swoop, the Professor Groove. The Brothers of Oz actually was before that. We did Brothers of Oz before that. We should do like around midnight.
Yep.
All the places in the Cross.
Yep.
When the Cross Kadoma was there. With Springfield used to be something else with Springfields when I got here. The All Nations Club. There was all these. The Cross was just like, just go to a club. Just go to the Cross, and there was music clubs to go to all night long. And another thing, how they can make something seem like it's so bad when really it's healthy, because as long as there's people and there was stuff around, really nothing could happen to you.
Yeah.
But they would make it like it's such a bad place, all these drugs and all this sort of stuff. Well, unless you was into drugs, you didn't even see it. but they wouldn't make it like that. And, you know, all the hookers that used to be on William Street, which is, people missed it, but that was like the beautiful eye candy in the world. You ride down the street and all these old girls be dressed up. They were just hookers dressed up. And like, just like in a row, down the whole William Street. And you'd be like, yeah, look at this. Then drive in the cross and it'd be like ants. Yeah. People like jamming and doing stuff and playing. Yeah. You couldn't get hurt. Nothing could happen to you. Yeah. They just had a city plan, I think, and knew that was like big property back then. They had to like some way find a way to get rid of all that. And they did eventually, but it was nothing like they promoted it to be. It was a real healthy place, a real healthy scene. But that's sort of my, you know, some stuff how I got here and started getting around here. And of course I started doing Dale Barlow and playing. Matter of fact, I went to South Africa with Dale Barlow. Me, Dale Barlow, Guy Strazulo, and Matthew Doyle on Didge. We toured South Africa when Mandela was in office. And that was the first place I ever been in my life where people loved their president or their prime minister, whatever they call them over there. I never been in a place like that. You get there and we're staying in Pretoria. That's the capital. That's where we were in Pretoria. And we get out, and first thing I did was little young guy, grabbed my gear and took it up to my room, and, you know, he give a little ring, give some change, and I go, man, you know, how is it over here, man? Because, you know, we grew up, you know, again, you don't play Sun City, you don't mess with South Africa. He go, man, since Mandela's in office, man, I could never even do this job. I couldn't do this. Oh, shit, okay, cool. We get in our car, we riding around, and they be selling, like, there's box trays of fruit and stuff. Black people on the side of the road. I mean, looking fresh, good fruit. You go like, man, give me one. So, man, what is it? Man, do you know I could never do this till Mandela got in office? I could never go out and do this sort of stuff. Okay, cool. I remember going to Sun City. We stopped at the side of the road. There was like a little market road, side of the road, buying stuff. And I went to this African lady, and she was selling jewelry and selling stuff, you know, African stuff. I talked to her, same thing. Man, I couldn't do this till Mandela got in office. None of this. And then what people don't realize that because we were there, we actually went over there because Australia and South Africa was starting this sort of like a trade thing. And at that time, it was he just died recently too. He was over the National Party back then. And we went to go play for a party for the country, for the state, for that party. You know, they had a party. And we did that. And off that we did some tours, and we did some schools. We did like university in Soweto. You know, like college, university, go play for them, show them some stuff. And we did that. And I'm saying, and of course there were the white people that's touring us. It got us over there because this is through the Australia government. And she's a lady, and I was talking to her, and she said, Calvin, it was white male dominated. South Africa, she said, we never had women rights, white people, white and females until Mandela got in office. Yeah. And you're hearing all this about Mandela the whole time you're there, man. You just go like, I'm telling you, when you left South Africa, you were on a high off Mandela, just being president of a country. People loving their president. You and like, all of a sudden you just like, it's like you woke up. It's like you realized that, wow, man, I ain't never been in a place like this. People love their prime minister, love their president. So I did that with Dale. I learned to play with Dale Barlow and Dr. Stuhler. I was doing, who else I played with jazz cats back then? I don't know. I just got into the little jazz scene, I never became one of the jazz cats. Because they all, conservatorium, all that sort of stuff. I'm self-taught, but I learned how to play jazz from jazz players and live. So I knew all the tracks. I knew all them songs, knew all that sort of stuff. But Swoop Plus was big back then. The Real Al Cafe was big back then for the jazz scene. I used to go down and play down there. Little keyboard player named Kathy Harley. She's an Australian girl. She's in New York now. Adam Armstrong was a double bass player in New York now. He played with Daryl Barlow and played people around. Carl Orr which Carl Orr left here, played with Billy Cobham and stuff, but he's over in England now. Carl is pretty, he does a lot of stuff in England. Yeah. Always at Ronnie Scott's, which is the jazz club of England, of Europe, damn near. So he's over there doing that all the time. Carl Orr, Steve Hunter, just I don't know, man. I got into doing that stuff, and then I got to doing the funk scene, but to me, it was no different than how I grew up, because how I grew up, you had to play jazz, blues, funk, soul, R&B. Yeah. If you didn't play all of it, you didn't get a gig. You wasn't a jazz player. You wasn't a funk player. You wasn't them days were gone when I grew up. Maybe it was before me, but when I grew up, you had to play everything to get a job, because that's the kind of stuff you play at the clubs. People come to the clubs, they expect you to hear everything. They didn't want you to hear R&B all night. They want to hear that latest jam by Grover Washington. Yeah. They want to hear that latest jam by Earth, Wind & Fire. They want to hear that latest jam by John Lee Hooker. Yeah. They want to hear, and this is how you pump out songs when you at the club. That was a school in itself. That was a whole school in itself. They want to hear Stevie. They want to turn around. They want to turn around and hear Smokey Robinson and Temps. Then they want to turn around and hear, Weather Report. Yeah. That Weather Report jam that's hitting. Man, that jam is, play that Weather Report jam. Oh, man. And people used to dance when the band we playing and sit down when the DJ came on. Yeah, yeah. Opposite. Yeah. That's how it was when I grew up. I don't know, Steve. I'm just rambling my mouth, man. I can tell you. Huh? Great.
It's great. Let's so I'm sure that's continued, through the 90s, 2000s. Let's fast forward now to, for me, 2011, and I was playing in a band called The Company.
Yeah, you remember The Company?
Yep. And I got a call one day from Tim Hung.
My partner.
Yeah.
We're still partners.
Yeah. He said, hey, man, I'm Tim, and we have a company called ihearmusic.com. And what we do is we promote bands, and we take your music and we put it on our site, and we, sell it as an alternative to iTunes and stuff like that. But what we also do is we put these showcases on at the basement. And Tim said, we're interested in you guys. And I'm like, fuck, really? How'd you get my number? So anyway, you'd obviously sussed out who we were at the time. And so we got invited down to the basement. It was myself and Gino, one of the other guys from the band. And it was the month before we were supposed to go on. And, we got greeted at the door by you guys, yourself and Tim, and hey, come in. It's like we were bloody rock stars or something. Come and sit down, have a seat, and there's little cards on the table that was promoting the show this month, but also next month. Yeah. And there we were, photo of us on this card. Me and Gino were like, man, check this out. And it was great. And then up to that point, I'd never played at the basement, and I may have told the story before on the podcast, but when I first came to Australia, it was the first year I was here. Me and my mate went into town, and it was around the time of the Sydney Festival, around January, I think it was, and we knew Billy Cobham was in town. So this was 1995. Yeah. Billy Cobham was in town.
I remember I went there. I was there.
Yeah. So me and my mate said, let's go there. Well, we haven't got tickets, bro. What are we going to do? So how about we went round to the side and we sat on the steps, and this car rocks up, this entourage gets out, and Billy Cobham walks out of the starts walking down the steps, and we're like, hey man, can we come in? And he goes, have you got a ticket? I said, no. He goes, we're not fucking coming in. And he walked to close the door, and but anyway, from that point on, I always wanted to play at the basement. And fast forward to 2011, getting that invitation to come and play. That following month, we ended up playing our showcase there. Yeah, but ihearmusic.com. How did that start? How'd that come about?
You know, me and Tim used to talk about music because, you know, and another long story short, I used to go out with this band called Philadelphia Grand Jury. And they were all over England, all over, we toured all over UK, in some of the States, South Africa, did a few things. But you know, people y'all would never know, but they have all these festivals around Europe in the summertime. And these festivals, Australia would like be in these festivals, bands from Australia. And they would get grants and stuff to do this stuff. So anyway, every time I do them, I never seen an Aboriginal band. I never seen. It was always the same indie rock bands, the same ones. I won't say their names, but the same sort of indie rock scene. Not that it was bad, or nothing against them at all. But you're going, yeah, but what's the diversity of Australia? Like, I know cats that play reggae, cats that play African music, Middle Eastern music, jazz, funk. I just knew, you know, being a musician, I was like, wait a minute, we know too many people that play all this music. So me and Tim got together. At that point, we were talking to a guy over, I just had a fashion design, fashion models. I can't think of the name of his company. Yeah. But you know, we were doing that, and we were talking to him and trying to get something going, thinking, let's start an online music store. Let's start an online music store to sell and promote only Australian artists. I said, because we thought, see, the World Wide Web doesn't belong to iTunes. It's the World Wide Web. Yeah. So if people would look into a site that only had Australian artists and realize that there's all this music in Australia, besides indie rock and country or whatever it is that they sell overseas as to what Australia is, there might be a chance of, you know, Australian artists being seen overseas or getting some kind of connection. Just something could happen for them. Not only that, maybe we can find a way to pay them more money for their sales. You know, take a little bit so we can keep it running. Of course. We wasn't trying to make money. Never. Matter of fact, I lost so much money in there. We still got it going. We still got some plans and some other things. Cool. When I say lost, not really lost. I was doing so many showcase nights, and artists would show up and didn't do nothing. When you know, they just didn't get the concept we were talking about, and I would still pay them. They didn't make no money. I would go, here, I got some here. Money out my account. Here, man, here's some money in your pocket. Just because I wanted to, you know, if you leave here with nothing, thinking maybe I ripped you off, or maybe I didn't want, I don't know. But anyway, but we started ourheremusic.com, and we still got ourheremusic.com. And people still going there today, diehards that like to buy records and downloads where they can own them, because of live streaming, you never own them. Yeah, people don't realize that once you quit paying the bill, that's right. Your whole library's gone. Your whole library's gone. Yep. So it's like what it's getting to now. All you do is you pay, but you don't own. Well, you're just renting it, really. Yeah. So I mean, and so me and Tim, that's how we got together. And we got with some people that helped us put the site together, helped us, you know, so to run correctly, help, you know, people can go in and just like iTunes or something. We thought they're not the only ones who can do this. I mean, like, how come we got to suffer? How come we got to be like, you know, bow down to these people that tell us what to do? And that's what's happening now. Now they tell us what to do again. It's live stream. It's like, don't put out CDs, just put singles out. You know, it's live streaming. Wait a minute, how y'all dictate how we should do? And we're the ones spending our money, you know, making these albums and putting this stuff out. And then y'all just take them and make money off us and pay us peanuts. Like, there have to be a way, well, for us to be in control of our destiny, not for y'all. And that's how I always feel about iTunes and all those kind of stores. I said, them big boys don't give a shit about us. And the reason you know they don't, if you go in there and try to find you have to be hard finding your stuff on there. You can find Beyonce, you can find anybody else big, but let you try to find your music on iTunes. You know, and And so we thought we'd get together and start a live streaming company. And then we said, we'll go beyond that. Not only that, we'll put it up and try to promote it and don't put no advertising.
Yeah.
You know, what like, your song come up and they go like, buy a Toyota. Or something come across, or there's all kind of, this happening, or you can, hot dog stands, or I don't know, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
You go through all that. We got no advertising on it, no nothing. There's a little thing. We'll talk about the artists, where they're from, what the album's about, and here's the song. You can download them. Not only that, maybe once a month, twice or once a month, we would do a live showcase. You can go see this artist live, and then we would promote the artists selling their CDs. Set a CD booth up for them.
Yeah.
Would even sell them for them. So see, we weren't trying to just come buy movies from us. No. It's about this artist, this Australian artist that y'all need to know that there's Australian music over here, and we call it Australian music because now we all live here, and soon you get 3 African boys, and you grab an Australian boy, and then grab a boy that's Greek background, and you call it African music. Well, it's now it's in the mix. It ain't straight out of Africa. It's Australian music. We're all here.
Yep.
So I thought, and so we tried hard to push something like that. And the only thing we caught it with, which is actually musicians hurting themselves. They didn't understand the concept. I would go on a lot of them's website, and they would have buy my music on iTunes, buy my music on this, buy my music on that, buy music on this, and they would never even mention I hear music.
Yeah.
Not even the option. And I'm like, see, we don't want monopoly. That wasn't that, just us. If you're going to sell jeans, Calvin Klein put his jeans in everybody's shop. He don't say buy my jeans at this shop. He say Calvin Klein jeans. Go out to all the stores that got, and you will see Calvin Klein jeans, and you can buy them. And you wouldn't even put it up there and give you that option for them to go here. And then I would get them to do showcase nights, and they would just show up. I go like, you didn't tell nobody? Do you know what a showcase is? That means this is your time. You got an hour to showcase your music to whoever you invite. You didn't invite nobody to the gig to see your music. And see, it's beyond them, because if they ever go to places like LA and New York and places where they do showcases, if you don't invite people, nobody comes and nobody see you. And there, when they do them, believe me, they got record reps, they got writers, they got radio presenters. They got everybody they can get at their showcases. When they're trying to showcase a new band, trying to showcase the material. And it's like that even today. And I go like, but you didn't invite nobody, you didn't bring nobody, you didn't tell nobody that they come. And then it's over with. It's like, and then you get one band that would do it and bring people, another band bring nobody. But then you want half the door.
I know that when we got invited, it was the biggest thing for us. We were so lifted by it. We promoted the fuck out of it, eh? We've still got the I Hear Music links on our Facebook page to the music.
Right on.
I was trying to find the exact date today, going back through our Facebook page of when it was the 20th of December 2011. That was the night of the showcase. And then going back through there, and we were posting every day about it. We got a bunch of people to come along, and it was just.
But even today, I still think the same thing. I haven't changed my mind today. Me and Tim been sitting around, we let it go dead for a while, but we're getting ready to try to bring out some other stuff, and we're going to do something, because live streaming is not right. Everybody now you can't even go on the road and sell CDs to help pay for your petrol, because they got everybody thinking that all they can do is just live stream your music, and you go like, but the punters, we gotta let the punters know that you're not owning nothing. So there's a way to get punters to start buying that music again, and knowing that what you buy, what you streaming, you can eventually own. There's a way to do something, and we're working on a thing now. And I'll do the same thing again. I did the basement, I did Blue Beat, and I did lazy bones as far as live shows. I promoted shows all them years.
Yep.
And put money into it. And not only that, I mean, artwork, the graphics, the printer, everything I did, posters, everything I did, I paid for. I never asked nobody for nothing.
Yep.
I did it all. And not that I want to credit anything for that, but just saying how they really did not understand that, I'm doing, now when you do this, it's going to cost you money to do any of this. And I've been telling you to come do this, and I'm doing everything. And I was sending you everything to send out to your people, and you still do nothing?
Yeah.
And you still don't want to advertise to buy your music over there. We just thought, wow, it's really something. I only got one artist now. I got one artist now, a guy on my site. It's fine. He's still on Out Here Music. And he probably sells, at least 4 or 5 singles a day.
Wow.
Every day. He sells about, 2 or 3 albums a month. Right now.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, right now I got one artist that does that right now. Every now and again I just ring up and say, hey man, here's some money.
Cool.
I got some money for you. Here's some money for you. Oh man, thanks. I got an artist that does that now. And lately I've had a few sales of people that I just go like, wow. Well maybe it made me think that maybe people are they're gonna realize that you're not owning nothing. But see it become the norm. Make young kids think it's normal not to own anything.
Yeah.
Like you just pay to own, Same thing with, with all the programs and stuff now. You can't really, you want to learn all your reverbs, all your, unless you're in the business, you're not going to be trying to, I don't give it ain't, man, it ain't but $10 a month. Yeah, man, but I'm not in the business.
Yeah.
I do this for a hobby. I do my home. I got my home studio. And I got to pay this guy $10 a month, this guy $10 a month, this guy $5 a month, this guy. All of a sudden, I'm paying out $50, $60 a month just to have enough plug-ins.
Well, you've got plugins that you'll never ever use because when you get that subscription,
right,
you get all of it. And they sell it like that. You get $5,000 worth of plugins for $40 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
And you do it, and then you only ever use 1 or 2 of them.
You don't never use them. $20 a month. But that's and $20 a month is $20 a month.
Yeah.
Because that comes on to something else.
Yeah.
So your idea of you get the idea that I don't own. I just rent.
Yeah.
And they try to do the same thing with cars one day. One day there won't be cars.
Yeah.
There's this about cars showing up to your house, you order a car, but as long as you pay a prescription, you can get a car. Once you stop it, you get no more cars.
Yeah.
You have to start walking.
Makes you think about the electric cars, possibly that down the line. They with the software that runs those cars. You might be. This may already happen. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the software to run your car will be a subscription, and subscription runs out, your car stops.
Your car stops. I'm saying we don't. Man, they are setting us up for the kill.
Yeah.
I can see it, setting us up for the kill.
Yeah.
May not even happen all my lifetime, but one day you can see it, they setting them up for the kill. It's going to become normal. And that's when the rich get richer and the people that think about the poor, you go like, so, in cashless societies.
Yeah.
How you not want cash? And y'all want to go for that?
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen to homeless? They can't get a bank account. They can't get a credit card. When you're homeless, you know how big homeless going to get? Y'all the movies y'all see of people scrapping around fighting for a piece of bread? Yeah, that's going to be reality. 100 years from now, it might be reality. Because how can they? Yeah. How can they spend? How can they? They can't even find a dime on the street and go buy a piece of bread. Yeah. Because money don't mean anything. Yeah. Who's going to take the dollar?
Yeah.
You can't put change in this man's hat. And he goes, shit, I'm gonna go down the store and buy me a loaf of bread, buy me a ham, and buy me a bottle, buy me anything. Mm. But now, when it's cashless, now that homeless guy is just like, finish. Mm. And when that grows and grows and grows, what happens? There's no cash. Mm. I can see that being like a major problem. 100 years from now, if that goes on.
There goes busking too, doesn't it?
Busking?
Yeah.
Going to the little grocery man that used to have his little change working. Yeah. Now you got to have an F-Puff machine. Mm. But yet, You know, again, if you ain't got no car, you can't get vegetables, you can't get nothing. And forget the weed, man. He ain't left passing no weed.
That's it, eh?
The dope man,
Yeah.
he's finished.
Yeah.
That's probably when they legalize it.
Yeah.
They realize, wait a minute, shit, we can air pass weed, and we can charge tax on it.
There might be some backdoor to that through that cryptocurrency, possibly, eh?
Yeah, there got to be something.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. I go like, and people are really like, and they're almost doing it. It's almost like people actually almost thinking like, yeah, man, cash. You know, yeah, just use your card. Man, I want cash, man. I like to put some money out and buy things.
Yeah.
And spend money on in little small shops and little things and get a corner store money because small business.
Yeah.
I like to support the small business and giving them money. You know, and that's changing, man. Wake up next day, he can, you know.
It's funny because when you've got, well, for me, like I use my card for most things. But when I do get cash, it goes into that little part of my wallet. And when it comes time to pay for something, it's like cash or card. And I have a look and I see what I'm buying. Oh, nah, I'm going to keep my cash. Use my card. It's like the cash is this little bit of extra value, eh? But you don't want to use it for everything. No, I'll just tap for
Not
this.
for everything. I got a cash card. I've got cash the same way. I got like cash or card. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Petrol. I better do. You know, but then, you know. But then I go buy a 6-pack and buy chips. I go do something. I do little things. I spend cash or go down and go buy something to eat or something one night. And then my wife or somebody will go out to dinner. I pay them cash.
A bit easier to split the
bill. I even do it for my, you know, when I get stuff fixed in my car. If I got the cash in my pocket, I give my mechanic cash.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, little young guy. He said he finally got cash and everybody's giving him F-Paws. Calvin, I go, man, I got some cash. He look at me like, oh, you kidding me? Cash?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Here's some cash.
Yeah, go buy your weed, man.
Yeah, go buy some weed. Go buy some weed.
Yeah.
You get some weed tomorrow. Because you can't F-pass it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you can't F-pass it.
That's it.
Oh, man. That's how I hear me. That's how me and Tim got that started.
Yeah.
Yeah, and doing showcase nights and again, and we had some really good nights, really big nights. We put, and then we would do like what we should call collaborate, and we would at the end of the night we let artists like collaborate and do something that what they did. They could take a song and take a country song and funk it up, take a funk song and country it up.
Yeah,
what they did, but it'd be something that the audience never ever would ever see again unless you were there. You know, and we should do that, and just try to sell shows and try to sell where people will actually come out and be entertained. And I used to run the nights like that. I would compare the nights and talk on the microphone and and introduce the bands and say stuff because I wanted to know you didn't just come in here to a band like you just come in the club and a band playing. No, you actually coming to a show.
Yeah, well, we were part of one of the collaborate nights.
This is a show.
Yeah.
This is a show, y'all. This is like come out and be part of a show, and not only a show, Australian music, Australian artists, you know, and you know, and come on, this is what it's all about. But you know, I told you, the artists shoot themselves in the foot. They go like, they didn't know how to. Maybe they thought I was gonna make some money or something. I'm spending money. I'm not making money, y'all. Like, I don't know what you thought, but yet the concept, even like now, even with the streaming companies, if you don't put on your website that to buy your music on there, nobody's ever going to not look on iTunes for your music look on streaming company for your music.
That's right.
Because you didn't tell them.
Yeah.
So you think that's any different than saying that you bought it from Out Here Music? Don't you realize that they are getting the best free promotion that they ever can get? And you're helping them. But yet you don't want to help the small man. But yet you want to talk about this big man like he's not realizing, but you don't help the small man. We're just trying to help you. And that don't mean don't do both. That just means help him too.
Yeah.
You know, go to the corner store and give him a little bit of your money too. Don't just give it to Woolworths and Kohl's.
Yeah.
Go to that corner man and say, hey, man, you working hard down here, man. Buy some tomatoes from you today. So what? It cost me 50 cents more. You can have it. Because I'm going home and cook. And all that, they fresh and they ripe and they look good. I like the way they look in your store. Let me get some tomatoes from you today. I ain't got to go down to Woolies and buy them ones that look like they ain't even red yet.
Yeah.
And they talk about the fresh.
And I'm going to give you my cash.
Yeah, the fresh food people, yeah.
You're going to have my cash.
Yeah.
Arabesk.
Oh, Arabesk.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was a good one. Me and Arabesk, I was doing a gig with long story short again, I was doing a gig with another friend of mine here named Aku Kadoga. She's gone now. Aku was she was fantastic. Aku was like she taught all kind of acting and she did all these all these shows and she did theater and she left here teaching for Wayne State University and changing over she's in Atlanta now working for the Black Theater. She's like the head teacher.
Yeah.
But Aku was doing her one-woman show called Frenzy. And me, Philippe Lindsay, Colin Ockford, and Varen Grigoff. And I knew Varen from just out the years, but never really played with him. And I knew his brother, Mario. His brother is like a pretty big film score in the States and Europe now. But we did the show at Aku. And so one day I was doing something and Varen said, Calvin, I got this, I got this, I'm trying to start this band with this guitar player. Rob Shannon was his name. He said, we need a drummer, man. You think you'd be interested in playing? I go, yeah, Varen, I'll come through. I know Varen's he's like a monster on our violin.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, yeah, I'll come over. And so I brought drum kit over and, I tease him now about, y'all was auditioning me. I said, you and Rob looking like, can he do it? What you think, Rob? Think we should have him? Y'all auditioning me, looking at me like strange, So I brought the kid over and we started playing some music. And we had this bass player named Corey Horwood. That was our first bass player. No double bass player like him. I don't run across none like him yet in Australia. He had been through con and everything, but Corey never wanted to play all that jazz. Not back then. He just wanted to play double bass. This guy could play Middle Eastern, play Indian, play all this stuff. Just play it. He just played a double bass like it was. When he put a bow up, he just go out of nowhere. He just pull a bow, take over a room. He just could do this stuff. So we started playing with these cats. I said, "Wow, I like this." So we used to go practice, like every Tuesday or something. We do this rehearsal and rehearse. And then we got a job. Our first gig, we got a gig down at the Opera Bar. And Opera Bar hired us to come do some work, and we did. And we started playing down there. And then Varen had to go over to Japan, and me and Rob kept it going. But Arabesk ended up being like it. We thought we named it Arabesk. Rob come with that name. Rob said because he always liked it. Django Reinhardt. Django Reinhardt always said there was a little bit of Arabesk in his playing. That sort of, flair, sort of. And he liked it that. So we called ourselves Arabesk. And we did what we call gypsy soul. We used to, meaning that because, again, we got a mixture. Varen was classic trained, did a lot of stuff. Rob actually was more trained on tablas and Indian instruments, and then he decided to play guitar, pick up guitar. And he was teaching himself how to play guitar, and he just knew that was to him, that was like a Django style was the first, was like an easier style to kind of like jump into jazz with. And Varen, which used to work out with him, and Varen would play all this stuff. And Corey played all this young boy. He ended up being a nurse and moving to Adelaide. He's a nurse. But he played so much double bass. And I started playing drums, and we started doing, we put out our first CD. And our CD, it just started selling. We sold so many CDs, and we ended up getting this big following. We don't even know why. It's like, wow, y'all like this? We don't even know why. But I think it's because when the girls really like that music. For reason, girls like that music, and maybe because see how we do our shows, it end up being almost not like a song. Our shows would be like a journey. We would start you here. And by the end of the show, we'd be going to take you through different parts of the world, through the country, take you, back and around again. And all of a sudden, and you sit there and all of a sudden you've been Arabesk. Arabesque. That's what we should say. We're going to Arabesk you tonight. You're going to be Arabesk when you finish your journey with us.
That's awesome.
And we should do these shows. And we started touring Japan a lot. Went to Japan about 5-6 times. Been to Japan. Oh man, fantastic gigs over there. We went over there to do this jazz festival called the Takazuki Jazz Festival. We got lucky and got that through a lady named Cindy Lindbergh. Cindy Lindbergh was working with like Oz, Australia, Japan, Asia, and she was actually bringing artists over. And we got in touch with her through Andro Martinez,
Yes.
because his wife, Martinez Productions, she was working with Sydney and said, "Y'all want to go to Japan?" We said, "Yeah." And they had this festival they were doing she was doing she had a line with a guy that was doing the head of the festival, Hiro was his name. And this festival would go on for like 3 or 4 days, and it would draw like 300,000 people. And when you went over, he gave us the auditorium, and the auditorium held maybe 2,000 plus people or more. And when you finished the show, you would almost sell out of CDs. We sold so many CDs. We got followers and fans in Japan.
Yeah.
But then we should do all this here. As far as Australia, we always toured the rural areas. We took our music everywhere, all over the South Coast, all over the North Coast. In the middle, we took our music everywhere, and everywhere we went, because we were only 4-piece instrumental band, it was easy for us to set up. I had this. That's the sound system. This is the Arabesk sound system.
Yep.
And this little desk. So
yeah.
I would take it everywhere, and I don't care what you do. This old limb desk I got, this old limb speakers, sounds like magic.
Yeah.
Old school, still old school, but Van could throw his violin through it. It had reverb and stuff already built in. You can get a sound. We could put the speakers behind us, and we never had to worry about a sound. And we would go all over Australia with Arabesk and sell CDs. I think we have sold maybe, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 boxes of CDs of each album all over Australia all the time. Never had to worry about paying for our tour, paying for petrol, giving ourselves extra money, putting money in the bank, everything.
Right.
That besides the gigs. The CDs would do all that for us.
Right.
So Arabesk was like, and me and Varen we still do it. Rob eventually stopped. Rob moved to Bathurst. He has his family in Bathurst. Last time I went to Japan, I took Yannick Coffey. I took Chris Frazier last time, too, another bass player. Our other bass player left a long time, but we have a few since then. We had James Hazelwood since then, double bass. We call him John the Bassist. But John Maddox sometimes does it with us. He used to play, years ago he played double bass. Now he got this little bass he plays. John Maddox played with us. Rory Brown used to go out with us. We'd have been through, bass players was always our problem. Since when Corey left, never could find a bass player, just wanted to just do it. Always had to keep, every tour we had to find a bass player. Find a bass player for every tour. And it hasn't changed. Bass players. Yeah. But Arabesk, we speak of Arabesk, yeah, man, Arabesk is, and we still today got about 3 or 4 CDs out, and we still tour. We haven't done that since COVID. Varen's up he's living on Magnetic Island, up in far north Queensland, and he hasn't been back yet. So I got people asking for gigs now, and I can't even book them because I don't have a violinist. I can't book them without the violinist.
Yeah.
It can't be me and another violinist. Only Varen.
Yeah.
Only Varen.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's Arabesk. I could tell you more about Arabesk. But Arabesk, we've had so much fun on the road playing for music and taking our music. It's so good when you take your music out and play your own music and people buy it and show up and I mean, everywhere we ever been, everywhere Arabesk has ever been, we've never had an audience that didn't like us.
Awesome.
I would say didn't love us. I told you, by the first song to the last song, it's like a musical journey. And that's how those shows have always been. So yeah, Arabesk, man. That's about Arabesk. That is one of our, did nothing, did no jazz, no blues, no nothing. We just did our own music.
Yeah.
And ended up being something people like. I was amazed. I'd be amazed. We playing and people out there dancing. You thought we was Prince. Put a Prince hit or something. Look out there and people breaking down. I was like, wait a minute. Not on this. I'll be playing. I go like, wait a minute. What are y'all doing? Like this?
Yeah.
I mean, they're like breaking down. You would think we was doing like, Cameo or something. And they be just bringing down some Arabesk jam. You be like, man, I don't believe this. So that was Arabesk, man. Arabesk is, very good, very, very good fun band. I got together with Varen and Rob Shannon and Corey. I forget what year it was. Well, I think now it's been about 12 years or so. 12 years, 13 years, or it's getting up there. It could be 14 years that we've been together.
Awesome.
Something like that now.
Cool.
And we never had a bad run. Never had nothing bad ever. We've always had a good time, a good run. The only band like it is just to go out with a band and you ain't got to do covers. We do no covers.
Yeah.
We do maybe one or two.
There's no vocal,
No vocals, no covers, no vocals. Yep. And we can show with a 4-piece and pack a hall and sell CDs. And people, you thought Cameo just left the building. We go like, we don't believe it. We never believed it.
That's awesome.
We never believed it, man.
I'll put links in the show notes of this podcast so people can go check it out. Yeah. You're also doing a TV show now on ABC Kids.
Yeah, man.
Bananas and the Poppers.
It's funny how that came about. I do this every now and again. I do this thing with I get a call from Matt Morrison. Matt Morrison is a guitar player, but also a drummer. I think he's reaching from Adelaide. But Matt is John Fields' drummer, the John Fields band. And maybe throughout the years, every now and again, Matt will call me up and go, Calvin, man, will you, because he got another gig, will you do John's gig for me? I go, yeah, man, cool. John only does functions and stuff like that. So it's always good payers. I'm like, thanks, man. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. So now I'm not going to do John Fields shows. Now, John Fields also, his brother is what's his brother's name? He's the other Fields in the Wiggles. See, the Wiggles, when the original Wiggles, one of them was with Fields. Some of them Fields and Murray Cook, and then there was Wake Up, the kind of Asian guy, all of them, they were the Wiggles. But John Fields also was the one that wrote Dorothy the Dinosaur and wrote a lot of those songs for the Wiggles. And John, which I wasn't too much aware of, I just did John Fields, those function stuff he did. So one day I get a call from a lady and from Kirkland Moore's production. And she calls me up and she goes, hello, my name is Marie Kirkland. She said, I got your number from John Fields. I said, yeah. She said, well, she said, I'm trying to do this kids sort of thing, a kids show. She said, you ever do, singing or anything like that? I said, no, I'm not really a singer. She said, oh, can you think you can sing kids songs? I go, I don't know. I said, what is this John got me doing? What is John calling you for? What is this? She said, I tell you what, if I sing you some songs, will you meet me out at John's house on a certain date? I go, yeah. She said, Mary had a little lamb. Maybe I can say Mary had a little lamb, or something. Yeah, I can do that, 3 blind mice. I don't know, whatever. So I meet her out there. And I don't know what they're doing. John is, and told her, because she's doing this thing she putting together, and I realized that they needed an African-American. It was good to have, that was like, she couldn't find one. Like, you go to casting companies, just don't have too many older people on them. And she's trying to think, well, what can I find like an African-American, somebody that I can put into this kid show? Oh, so I don't even know this. So I get out there and, John, me and John Fields, we always laughing and talking and hitting. And he goes, okay, Calvin, you got a little booth just in his house. Go in there and, he's this thing, man. I got the track going, man. Here's the words. See if you can sing this. I was okay, John. I'll go in there and try, mess around. And both of them, they tell me now, behind my back, they're crossing their fingers like, She said, can he sing? John go, I don't know if he can sing or not. He just plays drums for me. So he put the track on, and it's just some little kid song, I gave him my best, do-do-do-do, hit my notes, you know what I'm saying? Hum and stuff,
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought, because I thought, I'll help John anyway. I help him out, no matter what it is. And I go at the door, and they were like, okay. John said, can you double your line? I go, yeah, double my line, So meantime, they tracking me, for this thing.
You didn't know.
Yeah, I'm just tracking. They're tracking me for this thing I'm doing, And I come out, and John had to go somewhere, and she told me, look, I'm putting together this show. And she'd been doing it for like maybe a year or so and trying to get the show together. And the show is called The Nanas and the Papas. And she got this idea because she also did like the hooly doolies. She did splash dance. She's the behind these. And of course, John writing kids songs for all over. He got kids songs everywhere. And for the Wiggles, he's like one of the Wiggles writers. Well, he was back then, if he's doing them now or not. And so she said, and the idea was to, because grandparents are like a big part of kids' lives. Matter of fact, nowadays they just about look after them because, it costs so much to live. And, and daycares cost so much. So if they can be with their grandparents 2 or 3 days a week, daycare is only 2 days a week. People are like bouncing. Grandparents are like, and they don't mind being silly. They like all the stuff. They're grandparents, They got time. Well, your mothers, dads, they ain't got no more. They're too busy trying to pay bills, worried about this, worried about that. Jump off the grandparents' house, you ain't got to worry. The grandparents. But, even all around the world, there's no content on kids' TV with grandparents in relationship with the kids. Yeah. And this is what she did. And she started this thing, and we were going to do a thing with Canada. COVID stopped some stuff we're going to do overseas. Come back, and now we're on ABC Kids TV. We just did our first episode, which was just mainly like because we couldn't get the budget we could to do like little short stories like we wanted to, but we're doing like video clips of songs and singing and dancing with kids. And we just finished about 20 more clips. And in January, we'll be back out again on ABC Kids TV at iView. Yep. And so with the Nanas and the Papas. Yeah. And there's 5 of us. All of us are like entertainers. All of us there's 5 of us. All of us are entertainers. There's 3 girls and 2 guys. We're all entertainers and we're in the music and do stuff. We're still active and doing stuff today. Most of us are. And she put this thing together called the Nanas and Papas. We got a grandparents club. What we did during COVID, because they wouldn't let grandparents see their kids and stuff, thinking they might give them grandkids, thinking they might give them COVID because they found older folks was dying, young folks wasn't at first, and it was so all these grandparents all of a sudden were separated from their grandkids, like instant coffee with COVID. So we started the grandparents club on Facebook. And, it took us about a couple of months. We got maybe 20, 25,000 followers just on awesome. A place where grandparents can go and talk to each other, communicate with each other, share photos, do stuff. When we post up things, we do giveaways, we do all kind of stuff. And that has been huge. Then off the back of that, now we're starting our Nanas and Papas Facebook page. We only got about 1,700 that one so far. But we'll eventually get those followers over there, and off the TV show we get that going, and we just getting ready to start launching our YouTube channels. We just did I talk about this girl because this girl is phenomenal. Her name is Debbie Doo. Debbie Doo is this. You go, who's Debbie Doo? It's this young girl named Debbie Doo. They got this YouTube channel show for kids, and she has like, I don't know, 22 million subscribers or something, like some, I don't know, something. You see one of her songs and you see like, 100,000 people following it, seeing it. You see like who is this guy? And you Google it and you go like, what? And then you find out, and you really find out them and one called Hit Patrol. Another one, Hit Patrol. Who are these people? These people are making millions a year on YouTube channels.
Oh, yeah.
Millions. But Debbie Doo saw us, and she wanted to collaborate. We just collaborated with two things with her. Collaborated with her because she don't have a TV show. We don't have we trying to build our YouTube channel. She got TV there, but she doesn't have nothing on TV. Anyway, we just collaborated with 2 songs with her.
That's cool.
2 video clips with her. We just did recently, and we shot a bunch of content like a nursery rhymes for our thing, and we just did about 16 or 17 new clips for ABC. I just finished that. So the Nanas and the Papas, watch out.
Here we
come. We got live shows that we got coming up. You're going to come up pretty soon for the kids, and we're like the new kids on the block. But we're the we're the old folks. We're like the new kids on the block.
Yeah.
And the Nanas and the Papas, man, it's phenomenal what she's done, and how Marie and Lindy, another was 2 ladies. They had put this together, and we got choreographers, we got writers, we got script writers, we got. I mean, it's a production team behind us that believe in what the show and what they're doing, and they do. They put their money where their mouth is. It's not nobody just saying it; they're doing it. And yeah, man, we're having it's been a fantastic ride. I just finished shooting shows and kids, man, you go a whole week with kids and you're doing about 5 or 6 video clips a day. Man. I mean, every clip is a different, fresh set of kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here you are, you got to be like, okay, I'm ready again.
Yeah.
Man, it wore us out. That was so much fun with the kids. And another thing about that really got me was, kids coming in, they're not like, oh, these old people or something. No. To me, it just proved the fact that they're used to being around their uncles or their grandparents or somebody like this anyway. Yeah. It wasn't like they were dancing and singing with some old people. Yeah. They were dancing and singing with just having fun with just people. Yeah. They didn't separate us or make us any younger or older than they were. We're all the same doing this kid stuff, man. It's really, really fun, really good show, and if it really goes good next few years, I probably won't be able to retire, but I might even buy a bicycle. Yeah, that's exciting. Buy a new drum kit. Your scooter. Yeah, a scooter. I might even buy a scooter if it goes good. Yeah. But no, that's the Nanas and Papas, man. And ABC, look for us around January, ABC on Kids TV or even iView, ABC iView. Yeah. Yeah, I'll put links to that as well. Yeah, man, thanks for asking, man, because Nanas and the Papas, man, I can say a lot about that. But yeah, that's how it started. That's how I got involved. Yeah. And you were all our entertainers, and now we got a show together called the Nanas and the Papas. Great. That's awesome. Well, Calvin Welch, this has been great, man. What's been extra good is that I haven't had to say much, which is awesome, because you did all the talking. Oh, man. Which is great, because it's not about me, it's about you. I didn't know what to... I mean, stories and stories, man. Oh, man, you can tell stories for days and days. Stories for days and days. But yeah, man, I told you, I started as a young kid playing. Yeah. I'm self-taught, taught myself how to play. Yep. As far as music and drums and being a sponge to music. And I learned so much. Even today, I got this jazz gig I do. I'm lucky through COVID. I ended up getting this jazz gig at a place called Restaurant Hubert's. I do 4 days a week. Mm-hmm. I bring cats in to play with me, and we don't rehearse. We come in, we play jazz and play stuff to go. So what we doing to go? Swing, Calvin, thank you. It's a bossa, Calvin, thank you. It's a give me a 12/8 feel, thank you. And as soon as they kick in, I give 2 notes and I know the song. From my days of learning so much music and just being involved, being a sponge. Yeah. I don't have to have a chart in front of me reading this music. I'm not saying nothing wrong with reading or anything, because I think, especially nowadays, they should have learned how to read. But I was fortunate enough to go through life without having to You know, I can write down stuff, my charts, them if I have to write out something for myself, but I'm not a reader like that. I've learned to use my ears, and I can hear everything on stage, you know, I can hear. So music has been my life for, man, since kindergarten, since before kindergarten. I can just remember wanting to be a musician. Yeah. And now I end up being one.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and thank you, Steve. Man, you come out, you drove all the way to Merrickville.
Oh, it's not far. But yeah, no, all good, Kelv.
Oh, thanks, Steve. And I just hope I answered some things for you.
No. It's all about your story, man. And,
I don't know what else. I mean, you know.
People will dig it. Yeah. Merry Christmas and
Merry Christmas to you too, brother.
Yeah, we'll catch up soon.
And your family, you know, the whole family, man.
You too.
Yeah, hopefully catch you what you get. I see the podcast, but I hope to catch up with you just for, you know, man, maybe a gig or something.
That'd be cool.
You got to start back, man. When you gonna start back playing again?
Yeah,
it's coming. The kids don't stay babies forever.
Yeah, no, they won't. Then I'll be out there.
Yeah, you got to get back out there, man. Know something just for the fun of it.
That's it.
Just for the fun. You ain't got to do nothing. Just for the fun of it, man.
Yeah, I'll come out.
You know, when you're musicians and you do this and you learn, you know, it's a part of your life that I think that you should enjoy and bring out. You shouldn't not do it.
That's right.
For no other reason. You know, I run to people all the time. So I used to play guitar. I used to play piano. Oh, you got one? I used to play drums. You got a drum kit? No, I sold it. But I wish, well, get another one.
Yeah.
Set it up.
Yeah.
And every now and again, go beat it. And watch how good you feel.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's like
life.
Life is too short. Life is short, man.
That's it.
And not to enjoy things that you really deep down love to do. And no one says you had to be a professional or you had to make $1 million at it. It's just something you love to do. And, you know, at a party, at a you know, to hang out with your mates, you'll invite them over. Let's have a blow, man. You know, buy a few beers and play some music and play some songs and, you know, invite some people over and party and just sing and act crazy. And then we finish for the night. And we can do it again in 6 more months. And you feel good about that night. You'll talk about that night.
Yeah.
For the whole 6 months. I'm just saying, you know, that's how I am about music. I mean, I end up being professional, me. I think me professional. That's what I think now.
Yeah.
You know, I never thought I was going to be a professional drummer, as they call it.
Yeah.
But anyway, do it. If it's in you, bring it out, man, because life is too short. And not only that, it's energy. It's part of you. And I like energy. I like positive energy and being a positive person. I don't like negative. There's no reason to be negative because everybody, we're all here for the same reason. I believe in community. The church of my father being community. So when you talk about being a community and people being together and people, you know, sharing and doing things together, I believe in that because my father I come from that.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for us not to want to share and do things together. And I hate when I hate that. I hate to see people negative and down about stupid stuff because, you know, life is made to enjoy. And it may not be everything we want it to be, but then again, I don't care. Who said it had to be? You know, I don't care about the conspiracy theories and all that kind of old crazy stuff.
We're not.
It has nothing to do with living in life. Keep all that.
Yeah. And
just wake up every day and you go out and don't let nobody spoil your day. I swear you have a good life. Yeah, man, I believe that. And that's how I live my life. And really, I have good days every day.
Awesome.
Every day, man.
Beautiful.
Every day, man, I have a good day. I have no bad days.
Beautiful.
I can't even think of the last time I had a bad day. Really, can't think of it.
Don't conjure one up.
Yeah, man.
All right, Calvin. Beautiful, bro.
Okay, brother. See you too.
Yeah, later, man.
All right, love you, Steve.
See ya, you too, bro.
All right.